first time in 51 years. And for only the 8th time, the Muskogee Roughers will take on Capitol Hill in tonight's Thursday night high school football game of the week. Good evening, everybody. Bill Huddelston along with Nick Hampton here on Rougher TV as well as on Okie Country 101.7. Nick, the Roughers with another road trip into the OKC metro area. A couple of weeks ago it was PC West. Tonight it's Capitol Hill, and the Roughers would like to have much the same outcome.
Well, it's fall break. Weather certainly feels like fall break tonight.
It does.
And the Roughers have kind of geared up, getting ready for this game tonight. It's a game where Capitol Hill has the decided underdog. They have had a lot of problems with injuries this year, and so they are going to be the underdogs. The Roughers want to concentrate on just improving every game. That's kind of their mantra. Make sure we improve every week, and that'll be the key tonight. I think Travis Hill brought a lot of extra people tonight, hoping that maybe a lot of his reserves will get some playing time tonight as well.
The last time these two teams went head-to-head was the year that I was born. 1953.
They were the Redskins then.
They were Capitol Hill Redskins. And at that time, Capitol Hill was a powerhouse football team across the state, but so was Muskogee. We'll talk about some of those previous confrontations between Muskogee and Capitol Hill. Like I said, 1953, the last time. Google it and see if you can find the answer before we share it with you a little bit later on. When was the first meeting between the two schools? It's way, way back. But it's time now for us to take our first time out of the night. And when we come back, we'll give you a chance to meet one of the Roughers as we do each and every week in our pregame countdown to kickoff. And speaking of kickoff, this guy will be kicking off tonight. He is Reese Summerhill. He'll be our guest after this opening timeout. This is Rougher Football 2024.
Have you been injured as a result of a car accident? Has your family been impacted by death of a loved one caused by someone else's negligence? Whatever you are dealing with, you don't have to face it alone. At 222 Injury Lawyers, our dedicated personal injury attorneys are here to fight for the justice and compensation you deserve. Call 918-528-0222.
In times of need, it's comforting to see faces of people you know and trust. Cornerstone Funeral Home in Muskogee cherishes the opportunity to be there for you and your family in life's most challenging times when friends are most important. Cornerstone Funeral Home and Crematory welcomes the opportunity to answer any questions regarding planning and pre-arrangements for you and your loved ones. Experience the difference. Cornerstone Funeral Home, 1830 North York in Muskogee, where you'll find faces you know and reputations you trust.
Welcome back to Rougher Village. Moments before tonight's home.
Jay Hodge here with Rick. A man of few words. Wow! That's one of them. And when you see the savings at Jay Hodge Chevrolet Muskogee, tell him, Rick.
Wow! New 2024 Silverado Crew Cabs. Up to $15,000 off.
Don't overpay. Come see Jay.
New 2024 Silverado Crew Cabs. Up to $15,000 off.
Now at J. Hodge Chevrolet Muskogee, 144 West Shawnee.
Have you been injured as a result of a car accident? Has your family been impacted by death of a loved one caused by someone else's negligence? Whatever you are dealing with, you don't have to face it alone. At 222 Injury Lawyers, our dedicated personal injury attorneys are here to fight for the justice and compensation you deserve. Call 918-528-0222.
In times of need, it's comforting to see faces of people you know and trust. Cornerstone Funeral Home in Muskogee cherishes the opportunity to be there for you and your family in life's most challenging times when friends are most important. Cornerstone Funeral Home and Crematory welcomes the opportunity to answer any questions regarding planning and pre-arrangements for you and your loved ones. Experience the difference. Cornerstone Funeral Home, 1830 North York in Muskogee, where you'll find faces you know and reputations you trust.
Welcome back on Rougher Football tonight from Oklahoma City's CB Speegle Stadium, home of the Capitol Hill Red Wolves. But in our pregame countdown to kickoff, we always give you a chance to meet one of the Roughers. A young man that has kind of blossomed with his talents this season is the place kicker for Muskogee. Wears number 14, Reese Summerhill. You got to be pretty excited about the many opportunities you've been able to get out there and put the ball between the uprights.
Yep.
Reese, what's been the key to your success? I mean, there's a lot of excitement, lights flashing, horns sounding, but you got to go out and be concentrating on making that kick.
Just go out there and kick the ball and try not to overthink it, because when I overthink it, I mess up most of the time.
Now, what do you feel like has been the difference in your accuracy from previous seasons? Because I know this year you're right into the limelight, and all but for one bad snap, you're perfect on the year.
Yeah. Just working, because like my previous season, I did not work very hard on it, and I just was like, I have the position, and it got taken away from me. So I was just work hard on it.
Now, what kind of communication is there between you and your holder, Coda Barnowski, when he's down ready to take the snap? What things are going back and forth between the two of you all so that you know when it's time to come forward and knock it home?
I just shake my head, and he knows when to snap it. That's all it is.
Is there a particular way you like for the ball to be placed on the tee?
I like it to be leaned a little bit towards him. Little bit. Towards him.
Toward Coda?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Any particular reason?
It just helps me get better contact. It gives me the sweet spot a little bit more.
All right. Now, also on kickoffs, this season you've gotten a lot stronger with that, a lot more ability to put the ball deep. What do you feel like has led to that opportunity?
Again, just working on it. I mean,
how much time have you spent working to build the leg strength up in the weight room?
A lot.
What do you do to build that strength?
I mean, squat, just working on legs and flexibility. Stretching is a big thing.
Obviously, for sure. Now, a lot of people that know you on a day-to-day basis realize you, like myself, wear glasses. Mm-hmm. But now, as a kicker, you also have eyewear. Tell me about the goggles and why you wear those.
So I can see what I'm kicking. I mean, I'm blind most of the time. Like, I can't see far at all, and it helps me see the sweet spot.
So when the goggles are clear and the ball goes to the uprights, it's all smiles for East Summerhill.
Yep.
All right. Now, what things are you thinking about after high school? What are the things you want to do once you walk across the stage out here at Rutherford Village next May with that diploma in your hand?
I mean, I want to go to college, but I don't know where or what.
Any particular field of study you're thinking about?
I'm thinking about, like, sports writing.
Okay.
Sports writing, yeah.
Are you involved in that currently?
No,
just maybe a dream come true.
Yeah.
All right. What's the favorite thing that Reese Summerhill likes to eat? If Coach Hill were to pull the Summerhill, you're picking post-game dinner, where are we going to go eat?
Chick-fil-A.
All right. Well, hey, how about let's knock 2 or 3 extra points through and maybe even a field goal or 2 tonight.
Let's do it.
All right. Reese Summerhill, our guest, and counting down to kickoff, back with head coach Travis Hill after this timeout on Rutherford Football 2024.
Jay Hodge here with Rick. A man of few words. Wow! That's one of them. And when you see the savings at Jay Hodge Chevrolet Muskogee, tell them, Rick. Wow!
New 2024 Silverado Crew Cabs, up to $15,000 off.
Don't overpay. Come see Jay.
New 2024 Silverado Crew Cabs, up to $15,000 off.
Now, at Jay Hodge Chevrolet Muskogee,
144 West Shawnee.
Welcome back on Rutherford Football tonight from CB Speegle Stadium here on the south side of Oklahoma City. We bring in Rutherford head football coach Travis Hill. 6 games under your belt, still with a perfect 6-0 mark.
6-0 coming over here, and I mentioned 3-0 in district play, trying to get to 4-0, 2 seasons, but overall, as you mentioned, 6-0 and off to a good start. Good opportunity tonight to try to get better again here at in Oklahoma City.
6 games into the season, you knew you had potential. You know you got playmakers, but you had some young men that had not been in the prime time coming into the season. But many of these, what were rookies now, are becoming to play more like veterans.
Obviously, you can just watching films whenever you get to see those opportunities of a young man getting better on the football field. You can watch it all day long. As far as Friday nights, you think you see what you see, and oftentimes you do, but quite often the film tells the truth, and we're starting to develop some things on both sides of the football that are, like I said, we're growing up, we're getting better each week, and hopefully that will continue again this week.
With tonight's encounter, it's the 4th district contest. With the win tonight, you virtually assure yourself of a spot in the playoffs. Now, what spot that will be obviously still has to be determined.
Absolutely, and one of our goals, we put 3 of them at the beginning of every year. Number 1 is to make the playoffs. So if we can get this win tonight, obviously we can probably secure that opportunity. But the second goal is always win a district championship. The importance of that is, besides there is a championship behind that, is obviously the opportunity of positioning yourself for the playoffs. So the 4th and final goal, the 3rd and final goal will be win a state championship. So, that's what we're trying to process through to get to that point. Game 7 tonight, a pivotal game on a Thursday night, which is always interesting, and see how we hold up tonight.
Talk about that Thursday night, because obviously there is one less day of preparation. How do you alter your preparation for the Thursday night's opponent, whether it's Capitol Hill or anybody else?
Typically we do a little bit more work on Sunday, okay? I know that's a day that of rest and all the above, but, the kids are very good about it. So, we obviously introduced a little bit more than just trying to put last week behind. We introduced a little bit more this week, and it just brings everything up a day. Monday's a Tuesday, Tuesday's a Wednesday, and so on. And so with today, we treat it just like a Friday, even though it is a Thursday opportunity, but it does. People love schedules, love basically routine, structure. So anytime you get away from that, Bill, it's a different feeling for you as a coach, which the players feel a little bit different too. But I think we handle it pretty well.
Head coach Travis Hill with us in our pregame countdown to kickoff. We're going to take a timeout. When we come back, we'll talk about the offensive game plan that for the Ruffers continues to lead Oklahoma in points per game as well as yards per game gained. We'll talk with Levy Adcock after our first timeout. This is Ruffer Football in 2024.
Proudly serving residential and commercial customers throughout Muskogee County since 1905. Serving banks, mortgage companies, and mortgage brokers with refinancing, purchase, 1031 tax-deferred exchanges, along with full escrow services and more. Pioneer Abstract offers the convenience of centralized services for escrow accounts, title insurance, and title searches. Pioneer Abstract. Here yesterday, here today, and here tomorrow at 412 West Broadway in downtown Muskogee. Or call Pioneer Abstract at 683-2904.
Grunt's Barbecue serves up hand-rubbed, slow-cooked goodness. Anytime you're feeding a few hundred, hey, we're just tailgating with friends. Call the experts, Grunt's Barbecue. Ribs, brisket, burnt ends, mouth-watering hot link, and smoked chicken, where everything is made from scratch, from the barbecue sauce to the banana pudding. Give us a try, and you won't be disappointed. Grunt's Barbecue, 918-681-3900. Grunt's Barbecue, slow-cooked goodness in Muskogee.
Muskogee Ruffers here at 2024 come into this Thursday night encounter at CB Speegle Stadium, still undefeated 6-0. A lot of that due in part to the success of the offense that continues to lead the state, not only in scoring, but in yards gained per contest. Let's talk with offensive coordinator Levy Adcock. What's been the secret behind that type of success?
The secret is simple, is approaching every week just to get better and progress. We're not where we want to be come playoffs, but we're better this week than we were last week, and we just got to keep building and keep getting better each week, not taking any week, day, game, anything for granted.
Levy, obviously the return to full speed of Andre Beasley kind of changes your options. You had two good options with Bird and with PJ throwing and running the football, but now you put Dre back there. It's a three-headed monster.
Yeah, the dynamics of Dre, there ain't a whole lot of kids across the state that can do what he do when the ball's in his hands. It's best coaches give the balls to their playmakers, and along with Bird and PJ, Dre is definitely one of our playmakers.
When you've got guys like that, and then you've got some road graders up front that like to initiate contact, that makes the offense move smoother too, because you got those five heavy levies up there that can win the battle.
Yeah, everything starts up front with us. Those guys have kind of taken it personally, be most physical group week in, week out, and that just it makes the play call sheet bigger, and it makes everybody kind of get involved with it. Now you can get the ball to different people in different ways because everybody's got to worry about them five up front as well. They're one of the four-headed monster, if you will.
Let's talk now about kind of what your, I don't want to call it decision-making process, but how you analyze the circumstances of the game and determine which of those multiple option plays that you've got available. How do you make that decision on each down-by-down situation?
Well, as an offense, we meet on the weekends and stuff to kind of figure out what's going to put us in a position to win. I think you're foolish if you don't look at what's been working against the team you're playing against. So it's figuring out what teams have had success with and kind of putting our own little twist on it.
You've been able to, in one game, run the football very effectively, let that be the major part of the offense. Last week, obviously, Bird was near perfect. He only had 2 incompletions in 17 throws and had 6 touchdown tosses. When the ball's in the air like that, why go away from it?
Heck no, there ain't no way of doing anything. There's 1,000 ways to skin this cat, and we're going to keep letting number one do what he does with it, make the right decisions, put our offense in a position to succeed and be efficient. But yeah, if the run option's not there, then he's got to go make plays and make the right decisions with it.
Against a team like Capitol Hill, now how do you make those play calls? Because they have not had the ability, at least through their first 6 games of the season, to find a way to stop their opponents from scoring. What options do you have, and how do you make that play call?
We're not changing nothing we do for anybody. I look at it, people got to defend us. We don't have to outsmart anybody, do nothing like that. People got to play with our speed, our physicality. They got to put their numbers in the box, and Capitol Hill's going to have to do that as well.
Just like Travis said earlier, it's all about the Roughers getting better play by play.
Yeah, you can't, like I said earlier, you can't waste any days, weeks, games, practice. You can't waste anything. You got to continue to get better.
Offensive coordinator Levy Adcock with some pregame thoughts, back with the defensive mind of Steve Craver and how that scoreless streak of 10 can grow even higher tonight here at Capitol Hill. Back after this time out on Rougher Football 2024.
I'm Kyle Edwards for Kyle Edwards Buick GMC in Muskogee and the all-new Kyle Edwards Auto Group in Shakota. With the addition of Chevrolet, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram in Shakota and Buick GMC in Muskogee, it now gives our customers a great lineup of new makes and models to choose from. We are very proud to bring you a buying experience you won't find anywhere else. If you haven't visited us yet, come give us a chance. You'll like what you see. Family-owned, customer-friendly, Kyle Edwards Buick GMC in Muskogee and Kyle Edwards Auto Group in Shakota.
Pain is temporary, pride is forever. At Excel Therapy, we want to be your athlete's advocate for excellence. We offer treatment methods that focus on strengthening muscles and improving flexibility to improve your overall performance. And when injury sets in, Excel Therapy can aid in the recovery process. We know it's important to get back in the game, so trust the comeback experts, Excel Physical Therapy and Sports Medicine. With 16 locations and no physician referral required, you can begin healing today. Look for us online at exceltherapyok.com.
Rougher football tonight on the road at CB Speegle Stadium in Oklahoma City as Muskogee prepares to take on district opponent Oklahoma City Capitol Hill. We bring in defensive coordinator Steve Craver. First of all, from the start of the season with only 2 returning full-time starters to a lineup that now has put together 10 consecutive scoreless quarters, Coach Steve Craver, you got to be all smiles.
Absolutely, Bill. You know, that's the beauty about football, is kind of being a father, right? Kind of being a teacher. You see these guys mature. You see, you know, the level, their maturity as you go through the season, and that's what we're witnessing right now. We want to continue to build on that. You know, we don't want to let off the gas. It's good to have those shutouts, but, you know, the W is the most important thing. That's what I think these young guys are starting to understand.
What is it that has flipped the switch that has allowed them to kind of ramp up their aggressiveness, their attack style play, but still be playing sound assignment football?
Bill, I think it's a number of things. I think you look at our staff, they've turned it up a notch. I think you look at, you know, kind of our practice schedules. We're trying to get good on good in some situations where we can, you know, show them the real speed of the game. And so that, a couple along with those guys showing up in the will to want to. that's important there. And so that's what I'm proud of. I think we need to continue that if we want to repeat. You know, it's one thing to come from behind when nobody expects you. It's even harder to repeat something that you've done. So that's what we want to continue to do.
Now, when a ball club has this type of momentum, like the Rutherford defense has put together over the last 10 scoreless quarters, you come into a ball game like tonight. It's Thursday. There's been no school today. How do you get these guys to snap up the helmet from the opening whistle and play attack football and put together 4 more scoreless quarters?
It's exciting for us football coaches. You know, we teach, most of us teach, right? And that takes up a lion's share of our day. Well, today we get up, we focus on football. And so we're going to get the guys in early in the morning, get them out of bed, have breakfast, and let them have a little bit of downtime, and then we'll get back into our routine. So it won't be much of a difference from the football side. It'll be fun for us football coaches to just deal with football all day.
Where can defensively you go and just wreak havoc against Capitol Hill, against a ball club that is struggling, and it's a ball club that is also having to play with different pieces to the puzzle because of injury?
You know, Bill, it's, you know, you coach long enough, you've been in those type of situations where you're just trying to figure out an identity. And that's what those guys are trying to do. For us, I think it's focusing on us. I think it's playing fundamental football. I think it's, you know, just lining up and taking care of business. And it'll be really big for our guys to do that so we can get some young pups in there and get them in game time action.
Steve, through now 6 games, looking for a 7th win tonight. You talked about being a teacher. We had parent-teacher conferences earlier this week. What kind of grade would you give the Rutherford defense, given that now they've got 10 scoreless in a row?
Oh, Bill, I grade hard during football. I think classroom, I'm pretty easy. You know, for us, you know, Bill, right now, I like where we're headed. That grade probably won't come out until the last game of the season. I'll let you know then. But I think we're headed in the right direction. That's the most important thing.
Steve Kramer, some defensive thoughts prior to tonight's game against Capitol Hill. Back with head coach Travis Hill and the winning strategy. Brought to you by Michael A. Finnerty, attorney at law. That after this timeout.
In sports, having the right winning strategy is often the difference between winning and losing. The same is true when you need legal representation. For more than 15 years, the law offices of Michael A. Finnerty have successfully provided the winning strategy with excellence and integrity for the people of the Muskogee area in matters of personal injury, Social Security disability, and workers' compensation issues. The law office, Muskogee trusts Michael A. Finnerty, ready to develop a winning strategy. Michael A. Finnerty, 436 Court Street in Muskogee. Call 687-1155. Online at FinnertyLaw.com.
There's never been a better time to find a great deal on a sedan, truck, or crossover at Nissan of Muskogee. Call 918-683-6605 or go to NissanofMuskogee.com. There's never been a better time to find a great deal on a sedan, truck, or crossover at Nissan of Muskogee. Call 918-683-6605 or go to NissanofMuskogee.com.
Welcome back on Rutherford Football pregame tonight from CB Speegle Stadium here in OKC. Rutherford's preparing to take the field against the Red Wolves of Capitol Hill. Coach, we talked about playing on Thursday night, but this is another road trip. And for the Rutherfords of 2024 and in previous seasons, that's always been a good thing for Muskogee.
Yeah, like I said, we kind of mentioned before, every team's a little different, but we travel well, and I think that has a lot to do with you leave all the distractions behind. There's not a whole lot of distractions you can get on a 2-hour bus trip. So it allows our kids to just be with themselves, a little downtime, a little opportunity for a little rest and relaxation, and a little bit more opportunity to focus in on what their objective is this evening, which, as I've mentioned before, is getting better. Getting better is going to give us an opportunity to win a football game. So we travel well. Hope it continues that way tonight.
Readiness kind of got started on Wednesday night with the film out there at the stadium. And then all day today, the Rutherfords have been together from the pancakes at 9 o'clock at Runts all the way up to the kickoff just around the corner.
Yeah, I like that. And I'm glad you kind of bring that to our listening audience's attention because it's kind of what we do. So yeah, today's been an all-day affair. We started off this morning at Runts. Got to mention them all the time. They make great breakfast too. Rush, you might think about opening that thing up early in the morning for the city of Muskogee too. But great little breakfast this morning. Get together this afternoon. A little communications going on, and obviously the bus trip over.
Now let's focus on the opponent at hand. The Red Wolves of Capitol Hill have not been the most successful program, not just this year, but in recent seasons. But it's always one of those ball games that even though you can't use smoke and mirrors and talking to your players about the reality of the opponent, you have to also come ready when you step on the field to realize that, as the old adage goes, on any given day, whether it's Thursday, Friday, or as they say in the big league in the NFL, any given Sunday, anybody can beat anybody.
You line up and play the game because that's an opportunity. Sometimes more realistic than others, but it's still there. The whole idea is we try to communicate with our kids. We've used this. This is game 7, am I correct, Bill?
Right.
You don't have the opportunity. Some of you guys, the opportunities are running out for whatever that opportunity is. Just the opportunity that you're out there playing. But there's not many more times left. So take this one just like every other one, okay? Don't treat it differently. Don't handle it differently. It's the last game you may ever play. Get after it. So that's the approach toward it, and it's to get better. And like I said, if we get better, and I really believe this philosophy throughout the year, we use it a lot in preseason and non-district game, and if we get better, we're heading the right direction, and we're going to have a great chance to win. But if we don't get better, Bill, there's a good chance we could always falter in some way.
Of course, I guess that has to be the winning strategy brought to you by Michael A. Finnerty, is to take tonight's contest against Capitol Hill and get better from start to finish.
Absolutely. And a lot of people would say, well, come on, Coach, give us, I said we've been together all day today, right? So everybody on time to meetings. That makes you better. Everybody understanding, getting the information and processing the information. Getting here, just doing things right all day through the process of not what you want to do, but what the team needs to be doing. Bill, that's getting better out there. And that's really hard to do in these days society, okay? It's really tough. Much less the idea, we'll take that, getting out on the football field. It'll follow up with the same thing and the same effort you're going to get on the football field.
And I think in a contest like this, when you have maybe I don't want to call it an overwhelming favorites role, it is key, though, to come out and get off to a good start.
Absolutely. That's what you should do, what you need to do, and that shows that you came prepared and that you are getting better. If we get off to a slow start this evening, as we get ready to process this here in a little bit, then there's some things that I didn't do well, we didn't do well, that we got to continue to work on. But right now, like I said, I like to think we're heading in the right direction.
Head Coach Travis Hill with tonight's winning strategy, brought to you by the law offices of Michael A. Finnerty, attorney at law. Back with Health of the Ruffers, we continue from CB Speegle Stadium in Oklahoma City after this time out of Ruffer Football 2024. Proudly serving the elderly of the Muskogee community, Broadway Care Rehabilitation Center is a skilled nursing facility empowering better living through long-term care as well as many other respite care options. And coming soon to Broadway, the Memory Care Unit. At Broadway Care Rehabilitation, the amazing therapy department can help you or your loved one get back on their feet. Contracted with most major insurances, follow them on Facebook and see many of the enriching activities offered to the residents. Broadway Care Rehabilitation Center, proud to support the Muskogee Ruffers.
The world of education is driven by numbers. So is the one company more schools and universities call on when fire or water damage strikes. 1-800-SERVPRO. The number one choice in commercial cleanup and restoration.
When it matters most. The name to remember? ServPro of Muskogee. 918-913-4490. Online at servpro.com. Welcome back on Ruffer Football tonight here in OKC prior to the Ruffers matchup against the Red Wolves of Capitol Hill High School. We bring in head athletic trainer Justin Laird for this week's Health of the Ruffers discussion, brought to you by Excel Physical Therapy. Justin, obviously as the temperatures change with the change of season, the leaves begin to fall. This week's temperatures have been somewhat cooler. Tonight it's much cooler than what it's been in any of the previous games so far this season. What's the biggest challenge from the trainer's perspective, you and your student trainers, and what you're observing and what you're doing to have the athletes ready to compete?
Well, overall, we don't change anything, whether it's 100 degrees or it's 30 degrees or 10 degrees. We don't change anything like that. We inform them that regardless what the temperature is, the body still needs water, hydration, and fluids. Same as goes with nutrition. So we maintain, we do not change anything during the week. We still water them the same and put them through the same protocol as far as hydration, nutrition. The only thing that really changes is our stretching routine because, the colder it is, the muscles are tightening up more. So we add a little stretching to it and make sure they understand that of how important stretching is when it gets colder.
You mentioned nutrition too. What do you, Coach Leo, and other members of the coaching staff do with today's athletes and the Ruffers football team in particular to make sure that their body has the right nutrition to be able to perform at its best level?
Well, the one thing we maintain, we have protein shakes and we have meals provided for them. Try to maintain the proper nutrition for them so that they're getting what we know the body needs to perform at the highest level, where they might not get it elsewhere or know to get it elsewhere. So that's what we help to provide for them.
Head athletic trainer Justin Laird, our guest here in Health of the Ruffers. We'll come back and check that will not play, may not play, or be under the watchful eye of the training staff when we come back with more Health of the Ruffers after this time out of Ruffer Football 2024.
Nobody beats the All-Star teams, now with 2 dealerships right off of West Shawnee Bypass. Together, Honda of Muskogee and All-Star CDJR have the finest selection of vehicles in town. Whether you're looking for a brand new Honda, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, or Ram, or a pre-owned make and model of any kind, we've got you covered. We work with all types of budgets, so why wait? Come see for yourself why nobody beats the All-Star CDJR and Honda of Muskogee teams. Go Ruffers, and have a great game.
Have you been injured as a result of a car accident? Has your family been impacted by death of a loved one caused by someone else's negligence? Whatever you are dealing with, you don't have to face it alone. At 222 Injury Lawyers, our dedicated personal injury attorneys are here to fight for the justice and compensation you deserve. Call 918-528-0222.
Welcome back on Ruffer Football tonight here in OKC prior to the Ruffers matchup against Oklahoma City Capitol Hill. Health of the Ruffers brought to you by Excel Physical Therapy, where their aim is to get you back in the game. Justin, we were talking in the earlier segment about nutrition and hydration. With all those things considered, you looking at your list of athletes that maybe have to keep a watchful eye. What guys in the green and white here tonight will have the attention of the training staff or may not have the opportunity to play?
Well, we have several that have bumps and bruises, and like I talked about earlier, with the more stretching, the colder it gets. We got several that have, strains to muscles. Noah Darnella is questionable tonight because of a strained groin, but we'll evaluate before the game and go from there and know more of what his condition is. But other than that, we're healthy.
7 weeks into the season to have only minor concerns tells me that you, Leo, and this training staff, you're getting a grade A.
We're either a grade A or we're awful lucky. But it's great to go into Game 7 with only one unquestionable. I've been in places where Game 3, we're out 4 or 5 of them. In the conditioning aspect and all the other aspects that go into football every day is what helps with that.
Health of the Ruffers brought to you by Excel Physical Therapy. Back with more Ruffer Football tonight from Capitol Hill. That after this time out of Ruffer Football in 2024.
In times of need, it's comforting to see faces of people you know and trust. Cornerstone Funeral Home in Muskogee cherishes the opportunity to be there for you and your family in life's most challenging times when friends are most important. Cornerstone Funeral Home and Crematory welcomes the opportunity to answer any questions regarding planning and pre-arrangements for you and your loved ones. Experience the difference. Cornerstone Funeral Home, 1830 North York in Muskogee, where you will find faces you know and reputations you trust.
Jay Hodge here with Rick, a man of few words. Wow! That's one of them. And when you see the savings at Jay Hodge Chevrolet Muskogee, tell them, Rick.
Wow! New 2024 Silverado Crew Cabs, up to $15,000 off.
Don't overpay. Come see Jay.
New 2024 Silverado Crew Cabs, up to $15,000 off.
Now at Jay Hodge Chevrolet Muskogee,
144 West Shawnee.
Welcome back to Speegle Stadium here on the south side of Oklahoma City. Nick, in the distant background to the north stands, which is the Ruffers side of the field, you see the very tall structure known as the Devon Energy Building.
Just a nice, very nice looking building. You can see some of the taller buildings in downtown Oklahoma City well from here. Like we said at the opening, a good fall night. crosswind tonight, which is kind of unusual. This is an east-west running field here at Speegle Stadium and a pretty good southerly breeze. So we'll see what kind of effect that will have on the kicking and passing game this evening. Ruffers come in ready to go. Looking forward as they come out on the field. They won the coin toss and will defer. So the Red Wolves will get their first crack on offense.
The over-under on which one of us calls them the Redskins before we're done tonight?
I don't think I will.
Okay, all right. Well, I'm going to keep looking at this card that says Red Wolves. Of course, when you think about Capitol Hill, you think about basketball-wise, the big round rotunda that for many years was the home of some of the early sites, the off-sites before they would go to the arena of the state basketball tournaments. And I've been there many, many times over my broadcast career, but I wasn't around the first time these two teams played football, Nick.
You weren't.
I know it's hard for you to believe, but the first meeting between Capitol Hill and Muskogee came back in 1937, actually prior to the opening of Indian Bowl, which came 2 years later in a game between Capitol Hill and Muskogee, which actually was the inauguration of Indian Bowl. But in that 1937 contest, it was a fourth-quarter touchdown by the well-known Hall of Famer Indian Jack Jacobs. Unfortunately, the point-after touchdown failed, and the Ruffers lost that encounter by a score of 7-6. Tonight's game will be, as we mentioned, the 8th time these two squads have met, and that is the only victory in the preceding 7. Two teams have tied 3, and the Ruffers tied in that last meeting back in 1953, 27-27 in a game that was Indian Bowl. So as Nick mentioned, the Ruffers deferred the toss choice to the second half. And our get-to-know Ruffer Player of the Week, Reese Summerhill, will put it on the tee as we prepare for the opening kick. Capitol Hill will, on the screen, be to your right. They're wearing the maroon jerseys and very easily read big white numbers, Nick. They're so easy to discern.
They've had so many injuries. Their quarterback got hurt last week that had been quarterbacking, so his brother, who is a freshman, will take over at the quarterbacking spot tonight for the Red Wolves.
A very young football team, a team that has been devastated by injuries. Talking with their head coach, Clay Sizemore, who's now in his second tenure as a coach here at Capitol Hill. Players unable to play in tonight's contest from the start of the season, 12. Take 2 or 3 off most football teams and you're in a world of hurt, but to have lost 12 is a major undertaking for the Red Wolves coaching staff. So Summerhill has it on the tee.
From the left hash mark, which is a little unusual.
He'll approach, put a strong foot into it, angle it toward the boundary, and this one's going to go out of bounds. So it'll come out to the 35-yard line, and that's where 1st and 10, Capitol Hill will take over. Let's take a look at the starting lineups. First of all, for the Red Wolves, the tight end will be Ethan Geis, a 6'2", 180-pound junior. One of the wide receivers and perhaps one of the more talented athletes for the Maroon and White is Michael Hunt, a 5'9", 145-pound senior. He's one of those 3 Hunt brothers. Across the front, Eamon Peter, Keandre Woods, Angel Barraza, a 4-year starter at center. Landon Comastadal, a 5'9", 190-pound junior at one guard. And Enrique Pena, a tackle for Capitol Hill. Braxton Hunt, the young freshman, 5'9", 130 pounds, Nick. He'll be the starting quarterback tonight for head coach Clay Sizemore.
And lined up to his left is Jaden Bell, the running back. He's a junior, 5'7", 160, so not a lot of size.
Matthew Dixon also, as they run kind of a split-back formation. Ruffers in their black pants, white jerseys, green helmets. Hand the football off, trying to go left side. And just absolutely no running room that time for the previously mentioned Jaden Bell.
Shoemaker on the carry for the Red Wolves. Loss of a 1 yard.
Caden Harkin in on the tackle for the Ruffers, among others, and they'll lose about a yard back to the 34.
Ruffers will alternate 2 of those guys up front. They'll switch out personnel as they're doing here. Timmy Moore will come in this lineup. A loss of a yard on first down, back to the 34. It'll be 2nd down and 11. Out of the pistol. Play action. On a little reverse. Kind of come this 35, 40, 45 across midfield and then ushered out of bounds. Goes J-Ron White. Little misdirection caught the Ruffers all looking inside, Nick, and it became very difficult to catch up. And the speedy J-Ron White himself, only a sophomore, with a nice gain across midfield, going from the 34 in Capitol Hill territory to the 45 on the opposite end, 21 yards on the run for the 1st and 10.
Nice run, a nice play call, too, by the Red Wolves that time.
So from the Ruffer 45-yard line, clock running, wide receiver Michael Hunt. He's out wide to the right. Left-handed quarterback Braxton Hunt in the backfield. He'll again hand it off. Ruffers this time close it on the corner as Jaden Bell with the ball carrier will get to about the 44, a pickup of just a yard.
Mason Shoemaker on the carry for the Red Wolves. Gain of 1 to the 44-yard line.
So second down and 9. Change in numbers and names, Nick. 23 being Nathan Schumacher. So second and 9.
Second down and 9 again.
Tied in off the line of scrimmage to the right side. Split in is out to the left. Little play action series. Throw the ball up for grabs. Receivers out there behind Michael Puckett. The pass was just a little bit overthrown.
It was intended for his brother Michael Hunt out there, who had about a step on the defender, but just off his fingertips.
So Ruffers that time kind of avoid a near disaster start, and Ruffers will make personnel changes, and Andre Beasley will come in at a corner position. Third down and 9 for Capitol Hill, and a football team that has struggled to score and has struggled really to produce much offense all season long. Blake Cowan will line up as kind of a blocking back to the left side. Hunt will take it. He'll roll to his right. He's being chased. Tries to get away, and a nice shoestring dive. As that time it was Caden Harkin that dove at the feet of Peyton Hunt. Is able to make the drop on the tackle back across midfield to the 47-yard line. So that'll be a loss of 6 plus 3. That's 9 on the minus yardage, and it'll be a 4th down situation for the Red Wolves.
Well, they got one first down out of that long run to Shoemaker, but after that, the Ruffers really clamped down on him.
Joseph Ramirez, a junior, will be on to punt. Ruffers will put one man back deep, standing around the 20-yard line. 9:38 to play here in the opening quarter. Pause. But no clock camera tonight. There's the kick away. The Ruffers will just let it bound. It'll bound and take a big hop, rolling inside the 30, and will crawl its way down to the 26-yard line, where the Ruffers will start 1st and 10. And when you're thinking about your weekend menu, Nick, you want to think about My Place Barbecue West. The wife and I had ribs, beans, and fries from out there the other day, and it was very, very good, much better than the football game I was watching last Saturday. But nevertheless, you can make your place my place with a visit to 4322 West Okmulgee, 918-683-5202, My Place Barbecue West.
Should I ask which game you were watching?
Probably no, I don't even want to think about it. I've heard all I want to hear from Coach Joseph about the orange. So Ruffer quarterback Jamarian Ficklin, who last week had 6 touchdown passes, will hand it off to P.J. Wallace going to his left. Got a nice seal inside, 35-40, 45 across midfield. Wallace with the blocker on the sideline. He'll be pushed out of bounds, but a nice gallop going from the 26 on one end all the way downfield. The official running, trying to catch up with the play at the 27. 24 up, 23 down. That's a nice 47-yard gallop. And a Kyle Edwards Buick GMC Ruffer, first down at 10.
Well, that's a good way to start for the Ruffers. PJ just took around the corner and had a couple of blocks right at the line of scrimmage, and then it was sailing down the sideline.
Wallace now with over 4,200 yards. Bad snap past Bird. He'll run back and pick it up, but I think we may have had a whistle on the play as well.
Well, that's a break for the Ruffers, actually. Cost them only 5 yards instead of about 15.
You know, the thing I concerned myself, Nick, on thinking about tonight's ball game was what would be the mental readiness of this football team. After such a strong start to the first 6 ball games and a solid performance last week in the homecoming night victory, now on the road against a ball club that has struggled, to say the least, I just wondered about the mental readiness. Ruffers with the penalty back to the 31-yard line. It'll be 1st and 15. 2 wide receivers go either side. Ficklin will play action, sling it out in space. Catches made at the 30, 25. Beasley inside. That's actually E.J. James on the carry. He'll get it down to the 21-yard line. So he'll get back the 5 yards lost on the penalty and pick up 6 to the 21. So it'll be an 11-yard gain. And the Ruffers will have second down and about 4 yards to go. 8:27, the clock running here in the opening 12 from Speegle Stadium here in southwest Oklahoma City. Ficklin takes the snap, drops straight back, throws upfield, caught by Beasley. Ooh, nice spin move, 15. At the 10, spin again. Still on his feet, trying to break a tackle and lunging close to the goal line. He'll get down to about the 3. A couple of spin moves. Looked like a ballerina, Nick, as he made the catch not once but twice, spinning his way all the way to the 3, and good enough for Kyle Edwards Buick GMC Ruffer. First down and 10 on the 18-yard pickup.
So the Ruffers knocking at the door as Wallace and Bird stand back there ready to go.
Ficklin will hand it off to Wallace. He's got a huge hole, and he'll just take a step to his right, come back to his left, and gallop into the end zone for the touchdown. Ruffers go 74 yards and need only 4 plays to do it. Wallace doing the biggest part of the work. He gets the credit at the end with a 3-yard touchdown run. Touchdown, J. Hodge Chevrolet.
So now Summerhill will try the extra point. 40 of 42 on the season are extra points for Reese Summerhill.
Koda Barnowski takes the snap, puts it on the tee. It's a kick, and it hit the crossbar. So it's a failed PAT, and there's timeout on the field with 7:46 to go, opening 12. Ruffers goes the distance for 6 and lead it 6-0. We're back in 30 seconds on Ruffer Football 2024.
In times of need, it's comforting to see faces of people you know and trust. Cornerstone Funeral Home in Muskogee cherishes the opportunity to be there for you and your family in life's most challenging times when friends are most important. Cornerstone Funeral Home and Crematory welcomes the opportunity to answer any questions regarding planning and pre-arrangements for you and your loved ones. Experience the difference. Cornerstone Funeral Home, 1830 North York in Muskogee, where you'll find faces you know and reputations you trust.
Welcome back to Speegle Stadium Ruffer Football here in 2024, brought to you in part by I-40 Sports and Awards, Zapata Lawn and Tree Service, Serve Pro of Muskogee. It's like it never happened. Well, it's almost like it never happened. That penalty a moment ago, Nick, that could have been a bad turnover. Ruffers take care of their business, scoring the 74 yards with P.J. Wallace earning 50 of those, including the touchdown run.
Again, Summerhill will take the ball, move it from the center over to the left hash mark. He kicked it out of bounds last time, moving it over there, and especially with that wind blowing it across the field.
A little bit of a different setup because of the east-west layout of Speegle Stadium. There's not a whole lot of high school football fields that do run east-west now. Summerhill, this one, will put it right down the hash mark. It'll be fielded at about the 10, up to the 15, and downfield quickly with a...
Is that Anthony White?
It is Anthony White, a dub downfield, and just decleats the return man.
Did.
The gain is out to the what will be the 17-yard line, where Capitol Hill will start their second offensive series. Ruffers defensively will have Caden Harkin at one side, Kyron Cope on the other end. In between, Malachi Hopkins and Jack Green will be the interior. Then you've got Tim Moore, Latavia Johnson, and Koda Barnowski. On the corners, E.J. James and Michael Puckett, Anthony White, and Kenyon Goods. And Noah Darnell, Nick, not in uniform tonight. He's nursing a strained groin, and he'll be a Miss Speedy bullet for the Ruffers offense.
Fortunately, I don't think the Ruffers are going to need his speed tonight. They should have plenty with what they've got.
7:18 to go here in quarter number 1. Ruffers already with a 6-0 advantage. Braxton Hunt, the quarterback, with a running back to his left and right, slaps his hands together, a little play action. Now in some trouble, being chased, and he'll be demolished behind the line of scrimmage.
I think he and the running back got mixed up there. I'm not sure. The ball may have fallen out and he got it back. But
Barnowski was there to make some contact. The loss will be back upfield from the 18 to the 13. So it'll be a loss of 5 and 2nd and 15. Ruffers took their first possession and went the distance after allowing Capitol Hill to cross the 50-yard line.
It is very crazy.
So Bill Huddelston, Nick Hampton, and our Ruffer TV crew here on this Thursday night. Glad to have you aboard, whether you're on Ruffer TV or you're listening over to Okie Country 101.7. Here's the snap. Hand the football off. Not much to go to the left and then to the right on a turn back and a quick double-man takedown. Be a loss. Well, back to the line of scrimmage. They're going to get the forward progress.
On the carry for the Red Wolves,
So virtually no gain on the play. It'll be now third down and, 15?
Third and 15, yeah. They got to get up to
really not
28.
the situation that Clay Sizemore wants his very young football team to be in, kind of a must-throw-the-football scenario.
You'd really like to be able to control some clock here with the running game, but so far the Ruffers have pretty well shut it down.
2 wide receivers will come out to the left side. Hunt will take it. He's under press, and down he goes on a blitz inside. And it is Kyron Cope that just got in there virtually untouched. He'll make the tackle back at the 6-yard line, Nick. That'll be a loss of 7. And it'll be 4th down and a long way to go for the Redskins.
Up there, that just cost you right there. There's the Redskins. I heard it.
Did I?
Yeah,
okay.
I heard it.
Sorry.
All right.
I knew it would happen.
$5. All right.
Okay. Capitol Hill Red Wolves. The PA announcer howled when he introduced the team.
Yeah.
We'll talk about who that PA announcer is, a name that'll be well known to high school athletics. Here's a snap back in the field. It was the low snap. It hits and takes a good bounce for Capitol Hill. It'll roll across the 42 where it'll be touched. Timeout left with 4:52 to play, quarter number 1. Ruffers will get it for the second time. They'll start on the plus side of the 50. When you want to keep things moving like the Ruffers want to do on this position, especially if you're trying to buy or sell real estate, that's when you need Lakeisha McNack of Century 21 First Choice Realty. She understands all the ins and outs of real estate, whether you're trying to buy or sell, and she understands it is her job to keep your action on the move. So why not count on Lakeisha McNack of Century 21 First Choice Realty? Call her today at 918-869-2646.
Okay, Ruffers ready to go again with Bird calling the count, Wallace on his left shoulder.
4:52 to play here in quarter number 1. Ficklin, play action, out in space, caught by Beasley, trying to get to this edge, 35-30, a jet streak down the sideline, 15, 10, 5. Stiff arms a would-be tackler and takes it into the end zone. One play, 42 yards, Bird to Beasley. The Bees make things happen again, and the Ruffers have 6 more on the board.
That was pretty easy as Beasley had all kinds of space after he caught the ball. The lone defender that was out there kind of turned and gave a half-hearted effort to try and catch Bees, but there wasn't going to happen. And he sailed down, had a little bit of contact around the 5, but managed to stiff arm his way in.
Summerhill will be on to try the point after touchdown. Barnowski to hold. Good snap this time. Ball is down. Kick is up. It looks good. The arms are raised, and that's the extra point conversion. 4:42 to go, quarter number 1. Ruffers up early, 13-0 over the Red Wolves of Capitol Hill. Back in 30 seconds on Ruffer Football in 2024.
Jay Hodge here with Rick, a man of few words. Wow! That's one of them. And when you see the savings at Jay Hodge Chevrolet Muskogee, tell him, Rick.
Wow! New 2024 Silverado Crew Cabs, up to $15,000 off.
Don't overpay. Come see Jay.
New 2024 Silverado Crew Cabs, up to $15,000 off.
Now at Jay Hodge Chevrolet Muskogee,
144 West Shawnee.
Back at Speegle Stadium here in southwest Oklahoma City at game time. Temperature was 65 degrees with the winds out of the south at 22. Hopefully those winds will kind of decrease as the night goes on. But, Nick, like we were mentioning a moment ago, it's a crosswind scenario for the quarterbacks. But those little quick swing routes, kind of the RPO action, Ficklin and Beasley had no problem on their connections.
Summerhill again from that left hash mark to kick off.
Ruffers on the approaching kick. Summerhill puts it up high into the sky. This one's going to be short, fielded by Hunt at about the 15, trying to get to the edge. Then it's going to be corralled, and he'll be taken down right at about the 25-yard line.
Arias Parrish there to make the hit, keep him from going anywhere.
Nice to see those headhunters, so to speak, coming downfield quickly to make contact.
Spotted at the 25, it looks like, is where they'll put it down.
Ruffers' defensive front will have Jack Green in the middle. He, along with Malachi Hopkins. Kyron Cope, the junior defensive end, with Caden Harkins on the opposite side. Linebackers being Tim Moore, Coda Barnowski, and the middle backer, LJ Latavion Johnson. 1st and 10 from the 25, moving from right to left or from east to west. Out of the split diamond, hand the football off, trying to come right, cutting back against the grain and getting about a yard, maybe 2 on the ball carrier. Forward to the 27-yard line. You got to hear the airplane flying over. Nick, we're right in the landing path to Will Rogers Airport that is to our direct south of Speegle Stadium.
It sounds more like a chopper.
It does, yeah.
There, Up to the 27, they've spotted.
Clock running with 4:08 and counting. Ruffers with an early 13-0 advantage. Michael Hunt will be the wide receiver out by his lonesome to the far right side. Now they'll switch things around with Hunt working out of the shotgun. He'll wait on the snap, play action, hand it off, trying to come this side. There's just not much running room. Ruffers this time, Caden Harkin again getting in and gets at the feet of the ball carrier, and that's Davion Bean.
He loses back the 2 yards gained on the previous play.
So it'll be a 3rd and 10 situation for the Red Wolves. We were talking about the first meeting, 1937. Nick, there was also one meeting between Capitol Hill and Muskogee. We'll talk about a state championship outcome as the night goes along. So now on a 3rd and 10. And there's motion in the backfield. That's going to bring a 5-yard penalty.
False start against the Red Wolves is the call.
Rufford football historian is a guy that has what I call a gem of information, Tommy Cobb. And he's the guy that kind of shared some of these historical moments. But there was a state championship in 1950 at Skelly Stadium. Bill Scantlin, Max Boydston, each scoring in the first minute and a half of the 3rd quarter as the Ruffers won the title in 1950 against Capitol Hill 1913.
One of the Red Wolves comes off the field, and now the Red Wolves are going to have to call a timeout to get things straightened out.
We'll do the same with 2:54 to play. Opening quarter, Ruffers up 13-0. The Bakers dozen advantage. We're back after this 30-second break on Ruffer football in 2024.
Pioneer Abstract, proudly serving residential and commercial customers throughout Muskogee County since 1905. Serving banks, mortgage companies, and mortgage brokers with refinancing, purchase, 1031 tax-deferred exchanges, along with full escrow services and more. Pioneer Abstract offers the convenience of centralized services for escrow accounts, title insurance, and title searches. Pioneer Abstract, here yesterday, here today, and here tomorrow at 412 West Broadway in downtown Muskogee, or call Pioneer Abstract at 683-2904.
Nick Hampton with you back on Rufford TV tonight from Speegle Stadium. Ruffers with an early 13-0 advantage. Nick on a 3rd and what would be 15 now for Capitol Hill. You might be thinking that Coach Clay Sizemore's looking for some insurance.
He would, and his running game just hadn't gotten it done tonight. They're right at even. They had that one long running play in their first series on that end around, but otherwise it's been backwards, so they are 7-8 carries for 0 yards right now.
So lining up alongside Jaden Bell, or rather Braxton Hunt will be Jaden Bell. He'll be the running back to the right of the quarterback. And now he'll flip over to the left side. Wide receivers to the right, play action, back in the pocket. Ruffers come with an all-out blitz, and it's just a demolition crew of white jerseys. Just bodies wearing white, and Bell goes down, or the Hunt goes down. Ruffers had a lot of heat in the face of the quarterback. Just no way to get the pass away, and it's a minus.
Green leading the charge back there for the Ruffers on that particular tackle for loss.
Trip Deuce is on the scoreboard, 2:22 and counting in quarter number 1. Snap is back. Ruffers come with some heat. Kicks away, kind of a knuckling type kick. That'll take a big hop and roll toward the boundary and skip out of bounds. Should be about the 46-yard line. Ruffers would like to find an insurance touchdown. And when you need insurance, that's when you need your fast, fair, and friendly State Farm insurance agent, David Cobb. My friend, he takes care of all my insurance needs, and he can do the same for you. Whether it's for your home, your health, your life, whatever insurance questions you may have, pick up the phone and call 918-682-2511. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. David Cobb, a friend to Muskogee Ruffer football.
Well, the Ruffer offense has been efficient so far. 2 touchdowns, and what have they run, about 6 plays or 7 plays so far.
So with 2:09 to play here in the opening quarter, Ruffers up by the 13-0 count. Ficklin back in the pocket all night to stand and throw. Just going to throw a bullet. Jamie Beasley's behind everybody with the catch at the 5. 5 steps later, it's another 6 points.
So each of the Beasleys now with a touchdown in the books.
Jamarian Ficklin with his second touchdown toss of the night runs his career touchdown total up to now 114. Nicky had 6 touchdowns last week and only had 2 incompletions and passed for just under 400 yards in that win at Ruffer Village. Summerhill will come on to try to make it a 20-0 early advantage. Barnowski takes the snap. The kick's away. This one is on target, and the Ruffers have the 20-0 scoreboard here at Speegle Stadium. Back with more Ruffer football after this 30-second timeout.
Brunt's Barbecue serves up hand-rubbed, slow-cooked goodness. Anytime you're feeding a few hundred, hey, we're just tailgating with friends. Call the experts. Brunt's Barbecue. Ribs, brisket, burnt ends, mouth-watering hot link, and smoked chicken, where everything is made from scratch, from the barbecue sauce to the banana pudding. Give us a try, and you won't be disappointed. Brunt's Barbecue, 918-681-3900. Brunt's Barbecue, slow-cooked goodness in Muskogee.
Bill Huddelston, Nick Hampton back with you tonight from Speegle Stadium. And just as the Ruffers had game planned, a fast start, and hopefully a strong finish.
Ruffers now, last week or so, have also been playing and kind of looking ahead to next week's game at Sand Springs, which will be maybe one of the toughest of the district action for the Ruffers. Speaking of the Sandites, who just across the town at Putnam City West taking on the Patriots. Ruffers will go to Sand Springs next Friday at 7 o'clock, and we'll have the game for you here on Ruffer TV. Here's the ensuing kick by Summerhill. Again, it's a deep kick, fielded about the 13. Ruffers down quickly, and again, just a race to see who gets to the return man first. This time it's Tim Moore. And he'll make the tackle just shy of the 20-yard line at the 18. So Putnam City, Capitol Hill will be their 4th possession here in the quarter. Started their first one at the 35. The next one from their own 18. The last time from the 25. This time they'll start inside their own 20 at the 18-yard line with 1:52 left here in the opening 12 minutes of action. So far they have had one decent play of a 20-yard, 21-yard run. Other than that, it's just been nothing but losses offensively for the Red Wolves.
Just kind of have to wonder what the older Hunt brother says to his younger brother Braxton. Here's the exchange. Quarterback going to try to keep it, and he'll get dropped behind the line of scrimmage. He'll give the step forward back to the 16, but it's going to lower loss of 2. Peyton Hunt, who was the quarterback up through the early part of last week's loss to Putnam City North, he is the senior. His younger brother is a freshman. His other brother, also a senior, Michael Hunt. So the Hunt trio, a very key part of Capitol Hill's offense and defense. But I've just got a curiosity, kind of wonder what the conversation is between big brother and little brother. Here's the snap, handed off on the cross play. Reverse, come back to their side on the end around, and there's just not much going as the Ruffers close the door on the near side. J-Ron White on the carry. He's met in the backfield, one of those white jerseys. A budding star in his own right, JoJo Alexander, 6'2", 255, and only a sophomore. He's already getting looks from the collegiate level.
That was that play, that end around that they ran in the first series that got 20 yards. This time the Ruffers were ready for it.
So the ball will be placed at the 9-yard line. So that last play was a loss of 7. So it'll be 3rd and 19 inside the final 35 seconds when this play will be snapped. Hunt will clap his hands together. He'll hand it off. Running back, Bell trying to go to the right side. Again, he's wrapped up behind the line of scrimmage. Just no place for the Red Wolves to turn the corner against the Ruffer defense, and that'll be a loss back to the 5. So another 4-yard loss, and now it'll be Joseph Ramirez to come on to punt. He'll be having to stand in his own end zone to wait on a snap. But the play clock's probably going to run down, and that'll be the opening 12 minutes tonight from Speegle Stadium. Ruffers, after 12 minutes, have an early 20-0 advantage on 3 possessions for 3 scores. We'll be back to Oklahoma City after this 60-second timeout of Ruffer football in 2024.
I'm Kyle Edwards for Kyle Edwards Buick GMC in Muskogee and the all-new Kyle Edwards Auto Group in Shakota. With the addition of Chevrolet, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram in Shakota and Buick GMC in Muskogee, it now gives our customers a great lineup of new makes and models to choose from. We are very proud to bring you a buying experience you won't find anywhere else. If you haven't visited us yet, come give us a chance. You'll like what you see. Family-owned, customer-friendly, Kyle Edwards Buick GMC in Muskogee and Kyle Edwards Auto Group in Shakota.
Pain is temporary, pride is forever. At Excel Therapy, we want to be your athlete's advocate for excellence. We offer treatment methods that focus on strengthening muscles and improving flexibility to improve your overall performance. And when injury sets in, Excel Therapy can aid in the recovery process. We know it's important to get back in the game, so trust the comeback experts, Excel Physical Therapy and Sports Medicine. With 16 locations and no physician referral required, you can begin healing today. Look for us online at exceltherapyok.com.
Welcome back to Speegle Stadium. Bill Huddelston, Nick Hampton here with you on week number 7. It's a Thursday night encounter. And as play resumes, Capitol Hill will be deep in their own end of the field. Line of scrimmage being the 5-yard line. And a 4th down situation. Ruffers will have Peyton Lang standing back upfield around the 36 to wait what would be the punt. And very somewhat nervous has to be Joseph Ramirez, the 6-foot junior, standing just about 2 yards up on the back line.
You know, the Ruffers get closer and closer on every punt.
See what the Red Wolves can do.
On the
It's
ground.
a low snap. It's a bad punt, but kind of a rugby-style punt. Peyton Lang just points to it. He'll get out of the way, and Muskogee's going to start this time from the Capitol Hill 30-yard line. 11:51 to play here in the opening 2 quarters of action. And, Nick, you know, with the change in the temperatures here today, you know the change of seasons are coming. It's going to be fall forward back on November 3rd. That means your yard is going to be filled with leaves. And when you want to clean up the front yard, the backyard, or around your business, that's when you need the pros at Zapata Lawn and Tree Service. Call on Antonio Zapata. His crew can make your place look his very best. Give them a call at 918-990-0946. Got a tree you want removed? The Z-Man can take care for it. That's Antonio Zapata and Zapata Lawn and Tree.
Ruffers ready here with Bird and Wallace again in the backfield from the 31.
Ficklin this time going to give it off to Wallace, going right side, has blockers in front, just a huge hole, and P.J. Wallace will start right, and he'll virtually just take a stroll. I mean, he could have walked into the end zone. A 30-yard gallop by Wallace, his second rushing touchdown of the night, and with 11:34 to go, the Ruffers have added their 4th trip to the end zone.
He wasn't even running full speed.
Nope.
That time, just kind of loped down there, dodged around the blockers, and strolled in, like you said.
So Wallace had big runs on that first series, 47, and then the touchdown gallop of 3. This time he touches the football for a 30-yard race to the end zone. Summerhill to try the PAT of the high snap. Barnowski caught it, got it down, and the extra point is good. 27-0, Ruffers in front comfortably here early, as expected. We're back in 30 seconds on Ruffer Football 2024.
In sports, having the right winning strategy is often the difference between winning and losing. The same is true when you need legal representation. For more than 15 years, the law offices of Michael A. Finnerty have successfully provided the winning strategy with excellence and integrity for the people of the Muskogee area in matters of personal injury, social security disability, and workers' compensation issues. The law office, Muskogee trusts Michael A. Finnerty, ready to develop a winning strategy. Michael A. Finnerty, 436 Court Street in Muskogee. Call 687-1155. Online at finnertylaw.com.
Back to back to back. One-play drives. The last time was P.J. Wallace on a 30-yard walk to the end zone. One play for the touchdown with 11:34 to go before halftime. The 2 preceding one-play scoring series, the combinations between Jamarian Ficklin and Andre Beasley, and the second between Bird and Jamie Beasley. Wallace got the first touchdown when the Ruffers went 74 yards in 5 plays.
So Summerhill moves the ball again to the near hash mark to kick it off.
Friday night normal. Tonight is Thursday night. It's fall break. But the Ruffers showing no worse for the wear. There's a strong boot this time by Summerhill. But I believe we got whistle sound.
The Ruffers were offside.
Yeah. So it'll be a backup of 5 yards. But there's no reason for you to back up when you're in need of medical equipment and supplies, because there are pros ready to answer all your questions, help you with all your insurance paperwork, and give you whatever it is that you need when you rely upon Alpine Medical Supply, whether it's a walker, whether it's a wheelchair, crutches, or just bandages for getting over your injuries. That's when you need Alpine Medical Supply. Located at 1601 North Main in Muskogee. Call for more information at 918-682-7773.
So Summerhill will try it again from the near hash mark, now kicking from the 35.
It's been about the only disappointment, I guess you could say. One kick out of bounds and a missed PAT, and now an offside on special teams. Summerhill, Nick, is one of those guys that, I mean, he's the kicker as he approaches. When he's not in uniform, he wears glasses, but he says, I have to have the goggles to see the football. Ruffers again down quickly, and another open field tackle. This time it's Michael Beasley that's first to get there.
Puckett, I think maybe it was Puckett that got there and knocked him down.
You're right. Michael Puckett downfield to make the stop at the 18.
Good hit right there by Puckett.
So the first series for Capitol Hill started from the 35. They're next from their 18. They're next from the 25. Now back-to-back starts from the 18-yard line. 11:14 to play here in the opening half. Ruffers have had 4 chances and have 4 scores with a 27-0 advantage over the Red Wolves.
See if the Red Wolves can find any glimmer of some offense here in
Nick,
this series.
The biggest part is, can they find anybody in the offensive line that will stop the oncoming pressure? There's the play-action series, and Hunt throwing upfield, and got a receiver there. Catch is made. That's the tight end, Ethan Geis. Coach just saw Geis on the film and knew he had some athletic ability, and that's a nice play from the 18 outfield to the 33, 15 yards as the Wolves out in the background. Got to find some sort of entertainment, don't you?
I guess so.
10:27, the clock running. Ruffers up 27-0. I'm going to identify who's doing that howling here in just a minute. It's a former basketball star from the high school and the college ranks in Oklahoma. Snap is back to Hunt. He'll hand it off. This is Bell coming near side. Ruffers get out there and just close the angle. And Bell's run out of bounds right about the line of scrimmage. Good catch up that time by Muskogee is getting there quickly.
Alex Flores, who was in the game for the Ruffers, making that stop.
So the stop made right at the line of scrimmage, so no gain. Second down and 10. Ever heard the name Leroy Combs?
Leroy Combs, yeah.
Capitol played at Star Spencer High School for Johnny Johnson, then went on to Oklahoma State University, played with Indiana, and signed with a couple other teams in the NBA. He's the PA announcer here. Here's a little return. They try to run a reverse. The Ruffers standing in place and just no place to go as the defense of the Ruffers was right on the spot there to make the tackle. Dustin Carpenter,
yeah.
6'1", 227-pound backup defensive end, making the stop for minus yardage back to the 31, and the Redskins, who have already had their lineup depleted, Nick.
That's J. Ron White, the ball carrier, that's down for Capitol Hill.
Yeah, you're laughing because I said Redskins again, didn't I? I'm sorry, it's just an old habit that's hard to break.
It is.
First trip to Speegle Stadium to meet Capitol Hill and the Red Wolves. And the injured player is J. Ron White. He's able to get back to his feet, and he's clapping for himself, Nick, as he comes off the field. So it'll be now what? 3rd down and 12? Football at the 31-yard line.
That's right. Yep.
I guess maybe what's getting me confused is the howling of the Wolves. I mean, the entertainment is certainly high level here in the press box tonight, and what is a very crowded press box, no doubt. So the young freshman will be back at the quarterback spot. This time he'll put a pair of receivers out wide to the left on this, without question, 3rd and long and passing situation. Hunt will clap his hands. He'll take the snap. He looks to throw upfield, and this one just no place to go. And Hunt got hit hard on the release. Malachi Hopkins was right in his face, and the pass thrown away incomplete. So it'll be 4th down, stopping the clock with 9:05 left before halftime.
Dustin Carpenter in there again also had a big hand up. Almost got a blocked pass on that one.
See, they'll put Lang back around the 50-yard line, but I'm not expecting much of a return, if any, as Ramirez will be on to do the punting again. 9 minutes and 5 seconds left to play. Trying to get the
play clock reset.
Clock to reset.
Officials are going to get arm cramps there.
Yep, now
and they still got the wrong time on there.
Doesn't matter.
That's all right. There we go. All right. Okay.
27-0. Good snap. Ramirez, little side winding kick. We'll see it take a hop and roll to a stop at right around the 48-yard line in Roper territory. So now with 8:56 to go before intermission, see how much more action we'll see from Jamarian Ficklin at quarterback, or they'll come in with quick backups to get other players some experience under the game circumstances. 49-yard lines where our referee tonight, Rick Clark, will mark the football.
Only the second time tonight the referees have had to start in their own territory on the series.
It will be this time Jamarian Ficklin, but it will be Marquise Chaplin in as the running back. Jervon Washington will be the split receiver out to the boundary left. Trips go out wide to the right. Ficklin on a 1st and 10 from his 49-yard line. Takes the snap, hands it off to Marquise, dances right, 45, 40, 35, through a crease, dips the shoulder at the 30, still on his feet. He'll go inside the 30 and fight his way down to the 25-yard line. That'll be a 27-yard run. And a Kyle Edwards Buick GMC rougher. First down and 10, but there is a pink flag down on the play. Holding is going to be the call.
So that'll wipe out some of the run. The flag is down and around the 40, it looks like, 42.
But it'll still be first down on the replay. Clock showing 8 minutes and 10 seconds left here before halftime. 27-0. Again, we do apologize. We don't have our clock cam tonight. We'll get that remedied and repaired for the road trip to Sand Springs next Friday night.
So it's a 10-yard run for Chaplin, and then the Roughers get penalized, so it makes it 1st and 10 again, basically.
Indeed, right from the same spot as a moment ago. Trips come out wide left as Ficklin stare to the sideline. Washington this time is going to go the opposite side to the right. Play action, give it off to Chaplin coming left. This is Johnson cutting back across the middle, breaks through one tackle, two, lowers the shoulder. Then he'll just turn on the juice and scoot 52 yards for another Muskogee Rougher touchdown. But is there laundry? There is.
Oh, yeah. Back at the line of scrimmage. Oh, wow.
That's going to be back-to-back holding calls against the Rougher offensive line. And there's a bright pink flag. Not the traditional yellow. Of course, this being the month of October, officials and many schools across the state celebrating breast cancer awareness.
Well,
Johnson gets one taken off the scoreboard.
Offensive coordinator Levy Adcock not going to be really thrilled about these last couple of plays.
They'll walk the 10-yard penalty off and put it back at the, should be the 38. So now it'll be 1st and 20. See if the Roughers can overcome this 1st and long situation. Trips come out wide to the left. Edward James, Jamie Beasley, Andre Beasley. Johnson, play action, Bird in the pocket. The lefty's going to rifle one deep, wide and behind everybody is Jervon Washington, and he can't hold on to the football. He kind of had to stop for it, Nick.
Yeah, a little bit underthrown.
And had to twist his body back around to find it and could not hold on to it. So an incomplete pass. It'll be 2nd down and 10.
20. 2nd and 20 from the 38. And so the Roughers, I mean, again, Washington was pretty much wide open, and had Bird gotten a little more arm on that one, that would have been another easy 6.
The trio of receivers, if you look at it on the screen from the inside to the out on the left, is Andre, Jamie, and EJ. Beasley, and James. That's the law firm. 2nd and 20. Ficklin this time Going to give it off to Johnson, going right across midfield. Latavian to 40, still on his feet, 35. Take this one to the house. And this time, there is no pink laundry.
So Johnson says, all right, well.
I got a 52-yarder wiped off the field. This time, it goes from the 38, it's 62 yards, and the Roughers have yet another score.
All right, well, take it away from me once. Shame on me. Second time around, I'm going to score.
That puts a smile on the Rougher senior, Latavian Johnson. That for him this season is his third rushing touchdown of the year. And Reese Summerhill will be the most physically exhausted guy here tonight. This game continues with this right there. There's a little chip shot PAT that knuckles over the goal, but we have a whistle
offside.
prior to the snap and offside against Capitol Hill, right. 7:24 left to go in the first half, and it has been Roughers left, Roughers right, and Roughers up the middle as well as over the top.
So this will put the Roughers at around 34, 35 points.
Johnson, a senior. Got to credit the young man, Nick. I mean, P.J. Wallace comes in and earned the right for the starting position. LJ said, that's fine. I'm going to go at middle linebacker and make a name for myself. He's done a decent job there as well.
Yep, he has.
And with no animosity as well. So now Summerhill will put the T in the middle of the field. He'll stand right about the 9-yard line for the placement for Barnowski. And with the eye goggles adjusted, Summerhill this time toes it through, and it just crawled over the crossbar. Good. Timeout on the field. Roughers add 7 to the scoreboard, leading at 34-0. 7:24 to go before halftime. Back in 30 seconds in Rougher Football 2024.
Nobody beats the All-Star teams. Now with 2 dealerships right off of West Shawnee Bypass. Together, Honda of Muskogee and All-Star CD JR have the finest selection of vehicles in town. Whether you're looking for a brand new Honda, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, or Ram, or a pre-owned make and model of any kind, we've got you covered. We work with all types of budgets, so why wait? Come see for yourself why nobody beats the All-Star CDJR and Honda of Muskogee teams. Go Roughers, and have a great game.
Welcome back to Speegle Stadium here on this Thursday night fall break. The Roughers kind of having an early celebration to the extended weekend, Nick. They started with pancakes this morning at 9 at Runt's Barbecue. And Travis Hill says maybe Russell ought to consider opening for breakfast. The breakfast was so good as he entertained the Rougher football team and coaching staff this morning. And the Roughers are out quickly to a 34-0 advantage.
And kind of keep that as much of the routine as they can in place for game day.
So Summerhill will put it on the tee once again. He'll measure his steps and then come forward with a strong swing of the right leg. Will approach the kick, and this one's high and end over end. It's a bit short. Fielded about the 15, up the middle 20, and then a head-on collision. I mean, just a head-on collision, kind of like the bug hitting the windshield.
Is that Kenyon Goodson that made that?
Kenyon,
yeah,
yep,
it is.
Goodson. So,
and then he helps the guy up. What a nice, good sport. All right.
The ball will be placed at the 24-yard line where Capitol Hill will start again. 7:03 to play here before halftime. 34-0, Roughers up on top. Bill Huddelston, Nick Hampton here with you on this Friday night.
Might start getting the running clock now.
Yeah,
Officials started the clock there. Normally you don't do that on a change of possession, right? Yeah.
So 1st and 10. Freshman Braxton Hunt waiting on a snap, and he's going to have to wait a little bit longer because the Red Wolves are going to call a timeout. We'll do the same, take a 30-second intermission and return to Speegle Stadium. Roughers comfortably out in front, 34-0. We're back after this 30-second timeout on Rougher Football 2024. Proudly serving the elderly of the Muskogee community, Broadway Care Rehabilitation Center is a skilled nursing facility empowering better living through long-term care as well as many other respite care options. And coming soon to Broadway, the Memory Care Unit. At Broadway Care Rehabilitation, the amazing therapy department can help you or your loved one get back on their feet. Contracted with most major insurances, follow them on Facebook and see many of the enriching activities offered to the residents. Broadway Care Rehabilitation Center, proud to support the Muskogee Roughers. Bill Huddleston, Nick Hampton back at Speegle Stadium out of the timeout. 23-yard line after Muskogee has scored on every possession tonight, Nick. They've had the ball 5 times, and the only thing they failed to put points on the board was the first PAT.
So now let's see what the Red Wolves can come up with here at their own 23 starting.
Ruffers with a 4-man defensive front. Little play action series, ball carrier trying to get to the corner, turns it. Outfield costs the 25, and a little extra burst of energy.
Davion Bean, I think, is the
That's
man
correct.
carry.
Bean on the carry gets all the way up to the 30-yard line. So that'll be a 7-yard pickup. Ruffers tonight here in OKC. Next Friday night. First time this season, Ruffers have gone back-to-back on the road. They'll do it in a road trip to Sand Springs, which could have great implications on that goal of winning a district championship.
Sandys leading Putnam City West 35-0 in their game tonight.
2nd down and 3. Ball fumbled, loose on the turf. There's a scrum for it, and we'll see if
one official
Capitol
says the
Hill
Ruffers
was
got
able
it.
to get it. The Ruffers do have it. See who came out of the bottom of the pile with it. Wasn't quite sure, Nick, who that was.
A lot of bumping up over there, but I can't tell who actually recovered it.
So the Ruffers on the fumble recovery will get the ball back, and they'll start again in plus territory, this time from the 27-yard line with 5:12 left before intermission. It's kind of starting to get a little hungry, Nick. When I start thinking about pizza on Friday night, I'm thinking about Lugo's Pizza and the works. You can order it now, have it ready by halftime, and be back for the second half action. Peyton Lang's not going to come in at the quarterback spot. Latavian Johnson will be the running back to his left. Twins go out to the left side. Lang's going to hand it off to LJ. He'll duck under blockers. Now bounce back to the edge, and it's back-to-back trips to the end zone for Latavian Johnson. Another one-play scoring drive, this time LJ on the 27-yard rumble through the jungle. And the Ruffers have put 40 for the PAT moments away.
So Johnson now with back-to-back touchdown runs has got 89 yards on the ground.
Points off turnovers. Ruffers adding to that total.
They are now +5 in the turnover margin.
For the touchdown, Latavian Johnson with that gallop to the end zone now this season has 4 rushing touchdowns, and his kick is again up and good, and the Ruffers have the 40-0 advantage with 4:31 to go. Like we were talking about pizza, 41-0. Clock keeper was a little slow in putting up that extra digit, Nick, when I looked, but I was already thinking about calling Lugo's. I mean, the works is my favorite. The wife likes the cheesy garlic bread. Whatever you decide to order, and you can see their menu online. You can see it also on Facebook, and then you can pick up your phone and make a call right now to 918-777-4090, and then hustle out to their location at 812 Eastside Boulevard and enjoy great tasting pizza from Lugo's Pizza. New York style pizza. Nick, that's become my favorite kind of pizza.
We've had some in the press box in our
I'd
home
like to have that
games,
next
and
couple weeks when we play Sapulpa.
Okay, so Summerhill tees the ball up in the middle of the field, which he is required to do initially. Let's see if he'll move it to the hash mark as he has so far tonight.
Ruffer cheerleaders making the trip over here, and a decent
For the Thursday night and cool weather, yeah, I'd
and
say
fall
so.
break.
And an underdog opponent.
4:31 left. Ruffers now will adjust, and Summerhill will pick it up and race over and put it on the hash mark to the left. Capitol Hill Red Wolves have scored in 5 of their 6 preceding games. Of course, last week were kamikazed by Putnam City North 70-0. Here's Summerhill's kick. Be fielded at about the 5, then fumbled, racing around trying to find it. Still
It's in
loose,
the end
and it's in the end zone. They may call this a safety, or they could just be a muff and be a touchback, which would be the gentleman-like thing to do.
I think that's what they've done, yeah.
So the ball will come out to the 20. So When the ball does go through the receive man's hands, never was under any type of control. Goes into the end zone, it's an automatic touchback. So with 4:24 to go before halftime, Ruffers have somewhat had their cake and eat it too, right?
Yeah, they have. They haven't had any problem at all. It's, what is it, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Last 5 touchdowns have all been on the first play of the drive.
Ruffers have scored 6 times tonight. This time, the Red Wolves will have a single wide receiver outside the hash mark, between the hash and the numbers to the left side. And the young freshman, Braxton Hunt, getting a baptism by fire. He'll clap his hands together, take the snap, hand it off to his back, trying to come left and just can't get it around the corner. That's Bean again, but the Ruffers again just too much athleticism, too fast. There's a lot of different guys getting in there now from Muskogee. That time Arias Parrish making the stop, a little help from Cole McQueen, a loss of 4 back to the 16.
So the Ruffers just flailing them on defense tonight, like you say. The speed just too much for Capitol Hill to get outside. The Ruffers pursue laterally so well.
A lot of second unit players out there for the Ruffers. We talked about Cole McQueen and Arias Parrish on that behind the line tackle. I think they call that statistically what? A TFL?
Yep.
Hunt will call his own number this time, trying to turn the outside, and he'll get out of bounds and he'll get hit late. And I think that's more of an excuse me type contact.
They didn't call anything.
So the ball out of bounds, where's it going to be? Right at the 15.
Yeah.
So it'll be a loss of a yard back to the 15. There'll be 3rd down and 15. Braxton Hunt may go to his brother after the game and say, "Big bro,
get well.
You've got to get well because I'm hurting." That's kind of the way it is here tonight for Capitol Hill. Capitol Hill in action here tonight. And then next week will be at Putnam City West. Hunt takes a snap in the pocket. He's again under some trouble, and he has no chance to even look downfield and find a receiver. As the Ruffers that time, again, Jordan Hanlon getting in on the stop. And tackle made at the 14-yard line. So another loss of a yard. Some minus yards adding up in multitude for the Red Wolves. And again, it'll be Joseph Ramirez in to do the punting, and the Ruffers won't put anybody back.
Red Wolves just kind of taking their time here. It's the play clock now down to 4.
And Capitol Hill, seeing that, will have to spend another timeout. Let's do the same. While the break, we'll check on some other high school scores and update you on those with the Ruffers cruising tonight here at Speegle. 41-0. We're back in 30 seconds on Ruffer Football 2024.
The world of education is driven by numbers. So is the one company more schools and universities call on when fire or water damage strikes. 1-800-SERVPRO. The #1 choice in commercial cleanup and restoration.
When it matters most. The name to remember? ServPro of Muskogee. 918-913-4490. Online at servpro.com. Back at Speegle Stadium in Oklahoma City, Bill Huddelston, Nick Hampton with you on this Thursday night of high school football. Fall break. Ruffers cruising 41-0. Nick, you've been busily checking the high school scoreboard updates. Pass along some scores.
Big game tonight in 6A2 in the other district. Stillwater and Choctaw facing off tonight, both undefeated in district play, and they are tied at 7-all late in the first quarter. Putnam City North leading Bartlesville 7-0. As we said, Sand Springs having no trouble now, 41-0 over Putnam City West. Southmore leading Northwest Classen 17-0. And no score on Sapulpa and Ponca City.
Ramirez will take the snap this time, and he pops one up into the night sky. Ruffers just get out of the way of it, and it'll bounce around and rolled to a touch stop at the 26-yard line. 12-yard punt. The Roughers will again have great field position to start, with the clock showing 1:15 and running here in the second quarter, and up 41-0.
Be a question mark now if the Roughers will have enough time to score before the running clock runs out here.
Well, if it's going the way it has been, Nick,
yeah.
it'll be one of those situations where one-play drive. So now it'll be Peyton Lang again at the quarterback spot. The young sophomore will put a pair of receivers out wide to the left.
I think that's Chaplin back and running back now.
You're right. Roughers trying to make sure they get the right signal call. And
Somebody
you might
short a player.
Yeah, there were only 10 players out there, so Lyman missing. And ironically, Nick, guess who?
The
center. Yeah. So now the snap of the football from the 26-yard line. Lang looks over the defense, lets the play clock count down, and then prior to the snap of the football, one of the over-anxious linemen jumping offside. That's Ethan Lee, who was a guest on our Rougher Coaches show from Ron's Barbecue last Tuesday night. Nick, this guy is pretty easy to see. 6'7", 315 pounds. He wears the extra large helmet, and he's a 16.5 shoe size.
Wow. Fifth penalty against the Roughers tonight for 35 yards.
And the clock's going to run out, and we're going to go to halftime with the score 41-0. So after 2 quarters tonight, it has been all green and white. Muskogee on this Thursday night fall break taking care of business, leading Capitol Hill by a score of 41-0. Stay tuned. Our coverage of Rougher football continues from Speegle after this 3-minute timeout here at the half on Rougher Football 2024.
Have you been injured as a result of a car accident? Has your family been impacted by death of a loved one caused by someone else's negligence? Whatever you are dealing with, you don't have to face it alone. At 222 Injury Lawyers, our dedicated personal injury attorneys are here to fight for the justice and compensation you deserve. Call 918-528-0222.
In times of need, it's comforting to see faces of people you know and trust. Cornerstone Funeral Home in Muskogee cherishes the opportunity to be there for you and your family in life's most challenging times when friends are most important. Cornerstone Funeral Home and Crematory welcomes the opportunity to answer any questions regarding planning and pre-arrangements for you and your loved ones. Experience the difference. Cornerstone Funeral Home, 1830 North York in Muskogee, where you'll find faces you know and reputations you trust.
Jay Hodge here with Rick, a man of few words. Wow! That's one of them. And when you see the savings at Jay Hodge Chevrolet Muskogee, tell him, Rick.
Wow! New 2024 Silverado Crew Cabs, up to $15,000 off.
Don't overpay. Come see Jay.
New 2024 Silverado Crew Cabs, up to $15,000 off.
Now at Jay Hodge Chevrolet Muskogee,
144 West Shawnee.
There's really only one explanation for businesses who continue to thrive for decades on end, and that's a people-first mentality. Bravado employees live within our existing coverage area just like you. Our kids go to the same schools and play in the same leagues as yours. That's why so much of who we are consists of giving back to our communities, because your community is also our community. We are your family, your neighbors, and your leader in wireless mobility. We are Bravado Wireless, and we believe in the power of connection.
Pioneer Abstract, proudly serving residential and commercial customers throughout Muskogee County since 1905, serving banks, mortgage companies, and mortgage brokers with refinancing, purchase, 1031 tax-deferred exchanges, along with full escrow services and more. Pioneer Abstract offers the convenience of centralized services for escrow accounts, title insurance, and title searches. Pioneer Abstract, here yesterday, here today, and here tomorrow at 412 West Broadway in downtown Muskogee, or call Pioneer Abstract at 683-2904.
Runts Barbecue serves up hand-rubbed, slow-cooked goodness. Anytime you're feeding a few hundred, hey, we're just tailgating with friends. Call the experts. Runts Barbecue. Ribs, brisket, burnt ends, mouth-watering hot link, and smoked chicken. Where everything is made from scratch, from the barbecue sauce to the banana pudding. Give us a try, and you won't be disappointed. Runts Barbecue. 918-681-3900. Runts Barbecue. Slow-cooked goodness in Muskogee.
Welcome to CB Speegle Stadium in Oklahoma City. Bill Huddelston, Nick Hampton with you on this fall break Thursday night action of high school football. Ruffers comfortably in front, 41-0. Kind of replaying the opening 2 quarters of action. Capitol Hill took the opening possession, picked up a first down on their initial series, but then had to kick the ball away. The Ruffers started from the 26, and 5 plays later, after a 47-yard gallop by PJ, Preston James Wallace rumbles into the end zone from 3 yards out with 7:46 to go. Ruffers mishandled the PAT, and it was 6-0 at that point. After a quick 3-and-out by the Ruffer defense, Jamarian Ficklin hustles the offense back onto the field, this time starting from the Capitol Hill 42-yard line, and it would be a strike to Mr. Beasley, Andre Beasley, and a quick catch for 6. And Beasley, who also this week got a Division II college football offer to Emporia State as well as to Northeastern State University, getting into the end zone. Another 3-and-out possession for the Ruffer defense, giving the ball back at the Capitol Hill 46-yard line. And on the first play from scrimmage, Bird decides this time to look to the other Beasley, and it's Jamie Beasley behind everybody. Altogether a 46-yard pass and run combination with 2:02 to go in quarter number 1. Ruffers had command at 20-0. Then on the very next possession, the Ruffers have a short field after a mishandled punt, and Ruffers take over at the Capitol Hill 30-yard line. P.J. Wallace taking the exchange and just kind of strolls his way to the west end zone. A 1-play drive, and the Ruffers with 11:34 to go before halftime were up 27-0. Capitol Hill got its second first down on the next series of downs before giving the ball away. And then the Ruffers, who, after having 1 touchdown, wiped off the board because of a holding, and then another holding penalty, moved the ball back to the 38-yard line, and Latavian Johnson would take the snap, and he'll just lower his shoulders and get underneath all the would-be tacklers. He'll go to the end zone for a score, and the extra point made it 34-0. Then, after a fumble by Capitol Hill, the Ruffers get again great field position at the 27-yard line in Red Wolves territory, and it's 1 play for 6. LJ again, Johnson on the 27-yard gallop, and the extra point by Reese Summerhill with 4:31 to go and the clock running full time. Ruffers leading it at halftime, 41-0. We're going to take a timeout. When we come back, Nick Hampton's been busy with the fingers, toes, and the calculator, adding up statistics, both plus and minus. We'll analyze those first half numbers. But first, this 3-minute timeout. This is Ruffer Football 2024.
I'm Kyle Edwards for Kyle Edwards Buick GMC in Muskogee and the all-new Kyle Edwards Auto Group in Shakota. With the addition of Chevrolet, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram in Shakota and Buick GMC in Muskogee, it now gives our customers a great lineup of new makes and models to choose from. We are very proud to bring you a buying experience you won't find anywhere else. If you haven't visited us yet, come give us a chance. You'll like what you see. Family-owned, customer-friendly, Kyle Edwards Buick GMC in Muskogee and Kyle Edwards Auto Group in Shakota.
Pain is temporary, pride is forever. At Excel Therapy, we want to be your athlete's advocate for excellence. We offer treatment methods that focus on strengthening muscles and improving flexibility to improve your overall performance. And when injury sets in, Excel Therapy can aid in the recovery process. We know it's important to get back in the game, so trust the comeback experts, Excel Physical Therapy and Sports Medicine. With 16 locations and no physician referral required, you can begin healing today. Look for us online at exceltherapyok.com.
In sports, having the right winning strategy is often the difference between winning and losing. The same is true when you need legal representation. For more than 15 years, the law offices of Michael A. Finnerty have successfully provided the winning strategy with excellence and integrity for the people of the Muskogee area in matters of personal injury, Social Security disability, and workers' compensation issues. The law office, Muskogee Trusts, Michael A. Finnerty, ready to develop a winning strategy. Michael A. Finnerty, 436 Court Street in Muskogee. Call 687-1155. Online at finnertylaw.com.
Nobody beats the All-Star teams. Now with 2 dealerships right off of West Shawnee Bypass. Together, Honda of Muskogee and All-Star CD JR have the finest selection of vehicles in town. Whether you're looking for a brand new Honda, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, or Ram, or a pre-owned make and model of any kind, we've got you covered. We work with all types of budgets, so why wait? Come see for yourself why nobody beats the All-Star CDJR and Honda of Muskogee teams. Go Ruffers, and have a great game.
Proudly serving the elderly of the Muskogee community, Broadway Care Rehabilitation Center is a skilled nursing facility empowering better living through long-term care as well as many other respite care options. And coming soon to Broadway, the Memory Care Unit. At Broadway Care Rehabilitation, the amazing therapy department can help you or your loved one get back on their feet. Contracted with most major insurances, follow them on Facebook and see many of the enriching activities offered to the residents. Broadway Care Rehabilitation Center, proud to support the Muskogee Ruffers.
The world of education is driven by numbers. So is the one company more schools and universities call on when fire or water damage strikes. 1-800-SERVPRO. The #1 choice in commercial cleanup and restoration.
When it matters most. The name to remember? ServPro of Muskogee. 918-913-4490. Online at servpro.com. Go back on this Thursday night to CB Speegle Stadium. Nick, you and I have been around long enough to remember the name Speegle. He played, I think, collegiate football at the University of Tulsa.
I was wondering what happened. They just now call it just Speegle Stadium.
Right.
I wonder what happened to CB.
Well,
is there a story there?
Well, I can tell you he's a Hall of Fame football coach and had quite a successful tenure, including Capitol Hill High School, where he was a coach. So a long story there that we could get into, but I'd rather talk more about the history of this series between Muskogee and Capitol Hill. When it was Ruffers and Redskins, now it's Ruffers and Red Wolves here tonight, although I've called Capitol Hill Redskins a couple of times.
You have.
Thanks for reminding me of that old mascot. But let's take a look at the opening 2 quarters of action, and I think the numbers are equally as impressive as the score, 41-0, and the defense doing its job yet again. That now runs the scoreless streak total to 12.
Ruffers tonight with 7 first downs in the first half. Only 6 rushes in the game. You know, they've only rushed the ball 6 times tonight for 180 yards. So pretty good per
47
carry.
for PJ, 3 for PJ, and then 2 gallops to the end zone for LJ. So.
Yeah. 6 carries for 180 yards for the Ruffers. 4 of 5 passing for Bird for 117 yards this evening.
And should be 5 for 5 when Javon let that one slip through his fingertips.
Hands, right. So 297 yards in total offense here in the first half for Muskogee. No fumbles lost. Ruffers penalized 5 times for 35 yards in that first half. Leading rusher tonight is Johnson with those 2 gallops, 2 carries for 89 yards. Right behind him, Wallace with 3 carries for 81 yards. And Andre Beasley, the leading receiver, 2 receptions for 60 yards tonight for Andre. For the Capitol Hill Red Wolves, only 2 first downs in the first half. They rushed the ball 19 times for a minus 19 yards. They were 1 of 3 passing for 16 yards. So the Red Wolves with a minus 3 yards of offense here in this first half. They lost a fumble, and they've been penalized 1 time for 5 yards. White is the leading rusher tonight on those 2 end-arounds he had, 3 carries for 12 yards. And Geis, the only guy who's caught a pass tonight, 1 for 16 yards for the Red Wolves.
41-0 is our halftime break score. We're going to take a quick timeout. When we come back, we'll go back in time. We'll go back and look at the series. This being the 8th meeting all time between the 2 schools in a series that, if you check the history books, and thank you, Tommy Cobb, for that information, it goes all the way back to 1937. But it also includes a state championship matchup. We'll talk about that and more. We continue our coverage at the half of Ruffer Football 2024 back in 2 minutes after this quick timeout.
Have you been injured as a result of a car accident? Has your family been impacted by death of a loved one caused by someone else's negligence? Whatever you are dealing with, you don't have to face it alone. At 222 Injury Lawyers, our dedicated personal injury attorneys are here to fight for the justice and compensation you deserve. Call 918-528-0222.
In times of need, it's comforting to see faces of people you know and trust. Cornerstone Funeral Home in Muskogee cherishes the opportunity to be there for you and your family in life's most challenging times when friends are most important. Cornerstone Funeral Home and Crematory welcomes the opportunity to answer any questions regarding planning and pre-arrangements for you and your loved ones. Experience the difference. Cornerstone Funeral Home, 1830 North York in Muskogee, where you'll find faces you know and reputations you trust.
Jay Hodge here with Rick, a man of few words. Wow! That's one of them. And when you see the savings at Jay Hodge Chevrolet Muskogee, tell him, Rick.
Wow! New 2024 Silverado Crew Cabs, up to $15,000 off.
Don't overpay. Come see Jay.
New 2024 Silverado Crew Cabs, up to $15,000 off.
Now at Jay Hodge Chevrolet Muskogee,
144 West Shawnee.
There's really only one explanation for businesses who continue to thrive for decades on end, and that's a people-first mentality. Bravado employees live within our existing coverage area just like you. Our kids go to the same schools and play in the same leagues as yours. That's why so much of who we are consists of giving back to our communities, because your community is also our community. We are your family, your neighbors, and your leader in wireless mobility. We are Bravado Wireless, and we believe in the power of connection.
Back in Oklahoma City, Speegle Stadium at the half, where the Ruffers are cruising 41-0. Nick, this is an offense that has scored at will, not just tonight, all season long. Muskogee on the year averaging 50.5 points per ball game to lead all 6A football scoring. And that's some pretty good numbers when you consider some of the guys up at Division I.
The thing you got to keep in mind, too, though, as you think about looking ahead, the Ruffers have played outside the Arkansas schools and Tulsa, Washington, the three lower teams in the district that are now 3-21, I think, combined scoring average. And so the rest of the season is going to be a little more challenging for the Ruffers because now we've got to play the guys that are either undefeated or tied for the conference lead, like Sand Springs next week. Putnam City North has had a good season so far.
Yeah, I mean, coming into play tonight in District 2 of 6A2, you got Muskogee, PC North, Sand Springs, and Sapulpa, all with perfect 3-0 district marks. Putnam City North tonight at Bartlesville. Sapulpa is at Ponca City, and we mentioned the score between Sand Springs and Putnam City West across town, and the Sandites having no trouble. So it'll be for the outright district lead next Friday night when the Ruffers do go to Sand Springs. You got a scoreboard update for me there, Nick?
Let's see if we've got still nothing on the Sapulpa Ponca City game. Sand Springs 42-0 over Putnam City West, and Putnam City North leading Bartlesville at halftime 10-0.
So it's still the two teams, the four teams that were undefeated coming into play tonight with the leads in their contest, respectively. 41-0 the Ruffers. As we mentioned, this is the 8th meeting all time. And Nick, you and I have seen a lot of Ruffer football during our time spent living in the Muskogee community. You've got a couple more years than I do, but certainly we've seen a lot, but we weren't around for the first one. 1937. Final score at Capitol Hill High School. Jack Jacobs, Indian Jack Jacobs, a Hall of Famer, one of the first members to go into the Hall of Fame. He scored the touchdown in the fourth quarter, but the extra point failed, and the Ruffers lost 7-6. Then 2 years later, in the official opening and dedication of the Homer Ruffer football in 1939, historic Indian Bowl, Capitol Hill was the opponent, and ironically, the two teams would be deadlocked at game's end, 20-20. Then in 1940, at Capitol Hill, Muskogee unbeaten and untied coming into the contest. Capitol Hill scored in the final 2 minutes to tie the game, and it ended in, again, another deadlock at 19-19. Then in 1941, kind of like tonight's numbers, Muskogee defense held Capitol Hill to just 48 total yards in offense on their way to a 31-4 victory. And then perhaps the most exciting matchup between the two squads came in 1950 in a game that was played at Skelly Stadium in Tulsa. Bill Scantlin and Max Boydston each scored in the first minute and a half of the third quarter of that state championship matchup, and the Ruffers had a crown for head coach Paul Bell. 13 was the final score. Then in 1952, it was Muskogee winning it 20-7 at Capitol Hill. The Ruffers came in that night 4-4. Capitol Hill was 8-1 coming into the contest. And then the last encounter, as we mentioned, was back in my year of birth, 1953, in a 27-27 score. And Olin Treadway, had the opportunity to throw for 2 touchdown passes and run for another, as Muskogee took advantage of 3 Capitol Hill turnovers, but ended up the night at Indian Bowl in a 27-27 affair.
And then we haven't played since that time, so a long time.
51 years. Thank you, Tommy Cobb, for that Ruffer football history update, facilitated through my friend and yours, Nick, Mike Kays, who says he has a copy of the 1950 state championship program that somehow, someway, Mike says he got it at a garage sale?
Yeah.
I don't think Mike went to the garage sale. I think it was probably Sally that went to the garage sale and said, I think Mike might like this. But nevertheless, we're just about ready for the second half, and the Ruffers, who deferred the choice at game's beginning, will now have the football here to start the third quarter play.
And we should have a running clock all through this last half of the game now, so it should go relatively quickly, we would think. Ruffers have already gotten a lot of the reserves some playing time in this contest, so that's always good. Keeps the starters healthy, gives the young guys some reps.
See who's back deep to return for the Ruffers. Kind of hard to see that number, but
Chaplin's one of them.
Marquise Chaplin is one. I can't see the other side. I would guess that might be Peyton Lang, but again, I can't see the number on the front of that white jersey. 41-0 as Ramirez will approach the kick to begin the second half. Now the referee blows his whistle, and what do we got?
We were having a conference of officials.
So they'll hold up on the start of the second half. That gives me a chance to remind you, when you're needing to find someone to help you relocate, maybe you want to move your business, maybe you want a new place to call home for you and the family, or you're trying to sell a property. That's when you need a pro that knows all the ins and outs. That's when you need Monica Medley of Century 21 First Choice Realty. 918-990-0946.
Kickoff goes out of bounds, and so the Ruffers will get it 1st and 10 at their own 35 to start this series.
41-0. Ruffers had 6 offensive possessions and scored on every one of those. Actually, I guess they had 7 if you count that one that the time expired before the Ruffers really could get a play underway. So Muskogee will start the third quarter from its own 35-yard line. See if we'll see second-teamers or if we'll see
Ruffers
maybe a series for the ones to go one time.
Let's see what
it's going to be Peyton Lang bringing the offense to the line to the field, and Marquise Chaplin will be the running back.
They say the kick went out of bounds apparently at the 39, so the Ruffers get the advantage of
the 4 extra
yards. So
Kenyon Goodson will line up as a receiver outside the numbers to the right. Very young but talented Peyton Lang at the quarterback spot. He'll hand it off to Chaplin, who darts up the middle across midfield, turns on the jets, keeps his balance across the 45, and down to about the 43-yard line goes Marquise Chaplin. 11 up and 7 more down. That's an 18-yard run, and a Kyle Edwards Buick GMC Ruffer, 1st down and 10.
Peyton Lang hasn't had to do much except turn around and hand the ball off to someone so far. Hasn't thrown a pass or run it himself yet.
This time the Ruffers will put Michael Puckett as one of the receivers out to the far left boundary. Lang looking over the 3-3 defense of the Red Wolves. Going to again hand it off to Chaplin, who gets outside with blockers in front, 40-35. Scampers through one would-be tackler and fights his way inside the 30 to near the 27-yard line. Another 16 yards for Mr. Chaplin. The 5'8", 160-pound junior who came in with 20 carries on the season for 200 yards. He's adding to those numbers here tonight.
44 on 3 carries for him tonight.
Ball at the 27-yard line after this series started from the Ruffer 39. Clock showing 10:45 left third quarter, and still a big goose egg being posted by the Ruffer defense. And a 41-point tally on the offensive side. Now Lang sophomore quarterback. Play action, throws a little bubble route here on the near side, caught at the 25, inside the 25, ball fumbled, loose, and the ball rougher. I think it's going to be Capitol Hill that'll come up with it.
Keanu James was the guy who made the reception.
Nunu with the catch, but as he's wrapped up, he lost possession of it, and Capitol Hill will get the football. That's tough. That's at the 20-yard line where the recovery occurs. So the Ruffers turn it over as Messiah Harjo gets in on the fumble recovery for Capitol Hill.
7 yards on the reception and then the fumble for the Ruffers.
Clock showing 9 minutes and 50 seconds to play here in the third. 41-0 Ruffers on top of the scoreboard. Hunt, play action, giving off to Bell, and he's going nowhere. He'll lose yardage back to the, we'll call it the 18, so it'll be a loss of 2.
Second down and 12 for the Red Wolves.
Bell's carried the ball 7 times for a -8 yards tonight.
5'7", 160-pound junior trying to do work against that big defensive front that the Ruffers have out there. We'll try to find the right combination of the personnel. Jack Green, one of those 4 guys up front. Caden Harkin will be on the near side. Also out there, Malachi Hopkins. So it's the front 4
Still
for
a lot
the Ruffer defense.
And a lot of the secondary. Bernowski's still in there.
Play clock down to 2, down to 1, and that should be a delay of game call, but I guess they're going to let it play. Now they reset the game clock. Hunt will take it, throw it out on the edge. It's caught at the 20-yard line, but the speedy coverage of the Ruffers able to circle in on the receiver. Michael Hunt on the reception. He'll get back to the 20-yard line, so pick up a 2. It'll be 3rd down and 10.
3rd down and 10 for the Red Wolves.
Muskogee's defense has just done a stellar job, Nick. Now, obviously, there's a lopsided advantage for the Ruffers defensively when you take a look at just the sheer physicality and the physical development of the Ruffer players. Much bigger, much stronger. 3rd down and 10. One receiver out on the hash mark to the left. Hunt in the pocket, wants to throw upfield. This one is short, but caught. Nice catch. We're coming right up the hash mark. And Geis, the young tight end, making the catch. Ethan Geis, who had one of those 2 receptions back in the first half. The junior tight end with the catch, and he gets to the 30-yard line, and it is just enough for Capitol Hill Red Wolves. 1st down and 10. So the ball at the 30-yard line as the PA announcer howls the success of the Capitol Hill offense. Running back to the left this time of Hunt. Little play action. They try to run a little reverse, trying to get outside, and there's just no room to escape.
That's Bean carrying.
Davion Bean, a 5'6", 130-pound freshman, Nick. That's freshman handing off to freshman there for Capitol Hill. And the loss of yardage will be back to the 25-yard line, where it'll be 2nd and now 15. So the ground game woes just mounting up piles of minus yardage.
Let's see, they have had, 2 plays that were positive tonight, positive yardage.
6 minutes, 50 seconds, clock counting down time off the East End scoreboard. 2nd and 15. Hunt with the running back to his right. Hands it off, trying to stretch the ball to the near side. Ruffers come up and quickly close it. That's Bean again on the carry. But Latavian Johnson and company, along with Koda Barowski, too fast, too strong, get to the football. Stop that for a yard loss back upfield to the 24. So it'll be 3rd and 16, as it was a moment ago, 3rd and 10. See if this time young Mr. Hunt can find an open receiver and time to throw the football.
I was going to say, if he has time to throw it, that's right.
So the clock counting down, a running clock here in the second half as it was about midway through quarter number 2. Ruffers doing what they've done all season long, putting points on the board. Now Hunt in the pocket this time has some protection. Now he'll try to scramble. Caden Harkin's got him, and he just body slams him. That's more of a wrestler type takedown.
Number 3.
Bobby J would like that one, wouldn't he?
You would.
I mean, just picked him up, wraps him, and slams him to the turf
right
at the 23-yard line.
Some circles that gets penalized.
Indeed it does. Now, I'm kind of perplexed somewhat that might have been an overzealous tackle, but you can't take away the intensity level sometimes. And Caden Harkin with that tackle for minus yardage. We've got an injured player for Capitol Hill.
I think that's Hunt, the quarterback.
And we'll take the timeout and return to Speegle Stadium with the Ruffers comfortably in front, 41-0. We return in 30 seconds on Ruffer Football in 2024.
Pioneer Abstract, proudly serving residential and commercial customers throughout Muskogee County since 1905. Serving banks, mortgage companies, and mortgage brokers with refinancing, purchase, 1031 tax-deferred exchanges, along with full escrow services and more. Pioneer Abstract offers the convenience of centralized services for escrow accounts, title insurance, and title searches. Pioneer Abstract, here yesterday, here today, and here tomorrow at 412 West Broadway in downtown Muskogee, or call Pioneer Abstract at 683-2904.
Bill Huddelston, Nick Hampton with you here on this week number 7 encounter. Ruffers on the road. First of 2 back-to-back road games for the Ruffers. Ball carrier that gets up off the turf is the young freshman quarterback after being body slammed by Caden Harkin. Here tonight against Capitol Hill, 1 week from tomorrow, Ruffers will be at Sand Springs in what could be for the lead of District 2 of 6A2 football.
Let's see who will come in at quarterback now. Depth chart says it'll be J-Ron White. So, well, it's 4th down, so it'll be a kick by Ramirez now.
He'll stand inside his 10 to wait on a long snap as the punting unit checking it personnel late. Ruffers will stand with Anthony White just upfield from the 40, but that's just more of just kind of a police officer directing everybody to get out of the way. I don't think there'll be any kind of return. Ramirez gets a good snap. He'll step into it. Nice kick up into the night sky. Goes over the shoulder and will check up like a good wedge shot out at Muskogee Golf Club. And it'll stop at the 41-yard line. That's where the Ruffers will start 1st and 10 here with 5 minutes left here in the 3rd quarter and leading it 41-0.
36-yard punt that time. That's the best of the night for Ramirez.
Ruffers at season's end, they're going to be needing a lot of awards, Nick, especially the way this defense is going and the offense, of course, leading the state in scoring. Whenever you need awards, that's when you need I-40 Sports and awards, whether it's for performance or just a special recognition you want to create something special for your team, your group, your business. That's when you can count on the crew at I-40 Sports and Awards, located at 812 Eastside Boulevard. Call Martin Updike and his team and let them do work for you at 918-682-0280.
Lang and Chaplin in the backfield for the Ruffers as they start this series from 41.
Peyton Lang, snap at the waist, hands it off to Chaplin, who has a huge crease. 50, 45, racing his way through would-be tacklers, keeps his balance on second, and again fumbles the football as the ball came free, and lo and behold, Capitol Hill will get it back, and on the recover, it's J-Ron White. That's just trying to do too much when you didn't have to that time, and the young Chaplin carrying that ball kind of like a loaf of bread as he made that spin move, had it stripped. And Capitol Hill gets it back on a second fumble recovery.
We'll give Chaplin 34 yards on that run before he fumbled it.
So J-Ron White with the fumble recovery for Capitol Hill. That'll be something that won't sit well with the defensive coaches or the offensive coach. I said defensive, offensive coaches, especially the running backs coach.
So that's 78 yards for Chaplin tonight. Evans is up at turnovers at 1 apiece.
Ruffers could have 3 ball carriers if so desired over the 100 yards rushing tonight. Play action series. They try to run the little end around, and man, there's just nobody there to stop.
Sean Edwards was
the ball carrier, and it was JoJo that got in there quickly. Alexander, 6'2", 255. You know, I came out of the locker room the other day. He saw my shoes. And he started hollering at me. Hey, I like those New Balance. Want to trade? And my foot won't go in your shoe. It's too big. 2:42 and counting here in the 3rd. And little motion up front. The Ruffers perhaps a little eager and will get called for an offside. Preceding play had resulted in a 5-yard loss. This will be a 5-yard plus penalty for the Red Wolves. And it'll bring up a second and 10.
Muskogee, 5-yard penalty, takes the ball to
Check
the
around, see if we can find some of the other numbers for the Roughers out there. Nick, a lot of people. Peyton Armstrong looks like he's in at a defensive lineman spot. Second down and 10. Again, the Roughers
move too
biting
much
on the barking cadence. So back-to-back penalties on the Rougher defensive front, and back will come other players.
Peyton Armstrong, the guy who jumped the count there for the Roughers.
Back-to-back penalties. The Roughers had their 2s and some 3s now out on the field. Second and 5. Clock showing a minute 35 with a running clock here in the third. 41-0, Roughers cruising. Play action, hand it off, trying to get to the outside edge, and a takedown behind the line of scrimmage is on the carry. Sean Edwards, just not enough quickness in his feet to get around the outside edge. Be a loss of 2 on the play. And it'll be third down and about 7 still needed for the Redskins as we're approaching the 1 minute mark here in the third. Been a fast football game tonight here, Nick, with that running clock.
Well, first half was pretty fast, too, given with Roughers scoring on the first play of most of their drives.
Red Wolves with 2 wide receivers out to the left. Quarterback takes it, waits in the pocket under some trouble, and then just ducks under the tidal wave. That's kind of, Nick, you've been on the beach. You've been to the coast. And it's kind of like being sucked out to the sea.
There's a lot of hesitation on the part of the quarterback there for some reason.
That's because his receiver wasn't even close to being open, being blanketed on the outside edge. So the sack will go back, the tackle for loss, all the way back to the 13-yard line.
Loss of 10.
So it'll be another punting situation for Capitol Hill, and about the only thing the Roughers haven't done, Nick, is to block a kick, and they've been close on a couple of occasions. I don't know that they'll have much pressure here, as Kenyon Goodson will be the designated return man, standing up about the
But that's
Red
the end
Wolves.
of the third quarter.
Third quarter, and the clock will count down the final seconds, and 3 quarters are done with 12 minutes remaining from Speegle Stadium in Oklahoma City. Roughers well on their way to win number 7. Leading 41-0 over Capitol Hill. We're back in 30 seconds in Rougher Football 2024.
I'm Kyle Edwards for Kyle Edwards Buick GMC in Muskogee and the all-new Kyle Edwards Auto Group in Shakota. With the addition of Chevrolet, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram in Shakota and Buick GMC in Muskogee, it now gives our customers a great lineup of new makes and models to choose from. We are very proud to bring you a buying experience you won't find anywhere else. If you haven't visited us yet, come give us a chance. You'll like what you see. Family-owned, customer-friendly, Kyle Edwards Buick GMC in Muskogee and Kyle Edwards Auto Group in Shakota.
Bill Huddelston, Nick Hampton, and our Rougher TV crew bring you the sights and sounds of tonight's action, Nick. And the sounds defensively have been fairly bone-jarring employed by the Rougher defensive crew.
Thuds would be more like it just, you're right, yeah.
Kind of like that rear end of that vehicle that almost got right in front of us on the way over, that Dodge truck, right?
Right.
Indeed. But it'll be 4th down and long for the Red Wolves. Line of scrimmage being the 13-yard line as Ramirez will stand right at his own goal line to prepare to punt. The Roughers don't have anybody back. Referee's whistle will sound. The clock will start on the snap of the football to begin the 4th. It's a high snap, but Ramirez grabs it, and he chip shots this one away, and it rolls upfield, and then will circle back and roll to a stop at the Capitol Hill 30-yard line, where the Roughers will take over again. The only frustrating part of the second half for Muskogee, they've been moving the football, Nick, has been the last 2 situations where when the offense moving downfield, then you cough it up on a couple of fumbles.
2 fumbles, yeah, exactly right. Roughers did not score at all in that third quarter. So let's see what will happen now. Peyton Lang might be a little more. I'd like to see Peyton run just a little bit. He's so speedy, boy, if he could break loose. He's got some touchdowns.
See if he'll call his own number, if they'll just be plain vanilla and hand it off.
He's got a couple of touchdowns running so far this year.
Chaplin to the right of Lang out of the gun. 2 wide receivers to either side as the sophomore quarterback takes the snap. He'll hand it off. Chaplin coming to the edge, got a block at the 25, the 20, the 15, shakes the tackle at the 10, and then gets ushered out of bounds inside the 10. But there's a penalty flag back upfield. It's going to be a hold.
First and 10, correction, first and
That's
goal.
Tyreek Antwine carrying that time for the Roughers, who's checked into the lineup.
That hold occurred right at the line of scrimmage as Chaplin was making his initial moves downfield.
So that'll wipe it out and
bring it from the 8, and they'll come back to the 28 and walk it off from that spot as the official bends over and picks up his bright pink flag.
The preliminary signal is holding.
So all in all, it'll be an 8-yard loss in geography, if you want to call it that way, Nick.
so 2-yard run by Antwine.
First down and 18 for the Roughers.
Keanu James and I think that's Jacinto Miller split out wide to the right. Lang will take the snap. He'll call his own number. He'll keep it at the 35, come off a block at the 25, the 20, spins out of that grasp and will be wrapped up at about the 21-yard line. Almost got all that minus yardage from the penalty back on the quarterback keeper, getting all the way to the 21-yard line. So it'll be a 17-yard run for young Mr. Lang, who coming into play tonight had previously carried the ball 3 times for 115 yards, rushing into the end zone on 2 occasions. 41-0 Muskogee. Trips this time will come out to the left. Also in there, Caven Gandy at a tight end spot. As Lang with the running back hands it off. Ball fair coming to the near side. 15 through holds at 10, to 15 to the 10, and into the end zone. Touchdown.
Tyreek Antwine with the touchdown for the Roughers.
Just a quick sprint to the end zone, and the Roughers don't take much time here. 21-yard gallop, adding 6 more to the scoreboard. Let's see. It'll still be Reese Summerhill to do the point after touchdown. Roughers came in averaging 50.5 points per ball game. They'll have to score at least one more time, Nick, to equal that mark. Snap down, kicks up, it's on the way, and it is good. So with a timeout on the field with 8:52 and the clock stopped and now running again, the Roughers comfortably cruising tonight here at Speegle by the score of 48-0. We're back in 30 seconds. You're watching and listening to Rougher Football 2024.
Pain is temporary, pride is forever. At Excel Therapy, we want to be your athlete's advocate for excellence. We offer treatment methods that focus on strengthening muscles and improving flexibility to improve your overall performance. And when injury sets in, Excel Therapy can aid in the recovery process. We know it's important to get back in the game, so trust the comeback experts, Excel Physical Therapy and Sports Medicine. With 16 locations and no physician referral required, you can begin healing today. Look for us online at exceltherapyok.com.
Not the first team, not the second team, but the next man up, Tyreek Antwine with a 21-yard gallop to the end zone and the extra point to make it 48-0.
Again, students, call your
running clock here in the second half. We're down to 7:50 and counting here tonight at Speegle Stadium. Nick, I'm impressed with the facility. It's not the biggest, so it's not able to hold some huge events, but this is a great track facility. Kevin Gordon was talking about that with us as we made our way into the stadium tonight. This is a well-organized facility.
Pretty well a new field, too, it looks like here as
Indeed
well.
it does. Here's the kick by Summerhill. Fielded by the Red Wolves out to the 20 and then to the 25 before there's a head-on collision. Special team getting down there quickly. That time it was Trey Jackson, the young sophomore.
Mauricio McNeil also in on the tackle for the Roughers.
So we'll try to catch those fresh numbers out there. Brevin Duncan, he'll be at one linebacker position. 5'6", 161-pound junior. You have to expect we'll see Anthony Macdak, Jr., 5'11", 168-pound sophomore. The clock still running with 6:40 to play as the ball at the 25-yard line for Capitol Hill. Jalen Deere will be the single receiver out wide to the left. Slot to the right, one running back. hand the football off, trying to come near side. That's J-Ron White on the carry. That's actually
That's Bean.
That's Bean on the carry. Yeah, he'll get from the 25 to the 28, a 3-yard pickup.
3 yards, and brings up a
Second and 7.
for the Red Wolves.
Don't forget the Ruffers will be on the road again next Friday night. They'll travel to Sand Springs. And then 2 weeks out, the Ruffers back at home for senior night. A celebration of the senior class. Again, a contest against Sapulpa. Quarterback going to keep it, going to call his own number, trying to get to the edge, looking for a first down, but going to be stopped short on the sprint. That's J-Ron White, who is in for the injured Braxton Hunt.
Ruffers doing a good job to pursue and keep him from turning the corner. He got a yard, maybe it looks like.
Yeah, to the 29, so it'll be 3rd down and 6. Very tough circumstances for head coach Clay Sizemore. Is in his 4th year as the head coach of the Red Wolves program. A program that in the last 5 years, Nick, has only won 2 games, going 2-50 over those past 5 seasons. On the exchange, ball carrier for the Red Wolves going to the left side. That is again Davion Bean. He'll be brought to the turf right about the 33. It'll be another 4-yard pickup. It'll be 4th down and 2. And here, if you're Capitol Hill, why not go for it?
Well, they haven't punted extremely well, so they wouldn't give up a whole lot of territory, but they're going to go for it here.
Have to go from the across the 35-yard line to move the chains. See if it'll be J-Ron White or Davion Bean to carry here. First standing patient at the line of scrimmage, not going to jump off
Play
side.
clock,
Play clock
2
down
to
to
1.
2, now down to 1, and it'll expire.
No flags. Come on, guys. Thank you.
Finally, the official throwing his delay of game penalty.
Sure they didn't. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, he didn't want to throw it.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Slow it down. But the clock does keep running, even though they walked the 5-yard penalty off.
Well, that's going to make converting now on 4th down even tougher.
I'm sure that head coach Clay Sizemore wanted his quarterback to take a snap and just go. So it'll be 4th down and 6.
Clock down, closing in on 3.5 left to play in the game.
Capitol Hill Red Wolves tonight here at home. Next Friday night, they'll make a short bus ride across the metro to Putnam City West, and then we'll finish out the season at home against Ponca City, and then on the road at Bartlesville. 4th down and 6. Snap, low, picked up by the quarterback, trying to get to the edge. He won't get there, as getting over there quickly for the Ruffers defensively was Jack. Be nimble, Jack, be quick. Jack Green in on the stop.
So the Ruffers get the ball as it's turned over on downs. Ball carrier lost some yardage there.
Ruffers will take over at the 26-yard line, and they'll take plenty of time before snapping the football here in this, what will be the final series you would expect. Lang will come aboard. With a running back to the lineup to his left. This time that is Jonathan Adams. That's 81, is it not?
Yep, that's right.
Adams to the left of Lang. The snap, handed off, going straight up the middle through a little bitty of a crease. It just continues to churn forward all the way inside the 15 and close to the 10. The forward progress will be marked at the 11. 15-yard run by Jonathan Adams. And that's a Kyle Edwards Buick GMC Ruffer 1st down and 10 as the game clock approaches 2 minutes to play here tonight.
So, you know, these youngsters that are playing now on offense certainly would like to be able to punch one in here for the young guys' sake.
Single receiver out wide to the right. That's Jacinto Miller. Twins come to the left side for Peyton Lang. He'll look over, let the play clock come down. It's a low snap. Lang's just going to pick it up, try to make something good out of something bad. Does so at the 10, breaks the tackle at the 5, and the sophomore to the end zone. it up and races his way to the end zone on an 11-yard touchdown run with 1:28 to go, and the Roughers have the plus 50 mark one more time. So Reese Summerhill may need some rest and recovery over the long holiday weekend, Nick.
Clock continues to run, and this may be ended up being the last play of the game by the time the kick's made and you line up for the kickoffs.
Summerhill will try the PAT. Barnowski to hold. High snap. Fire. Barnowski will pick it up, and he'll just hold on to it and take the loss there. So they blow it dead. So the Roughers mishandled the PAT. And will have to kick off. So mishandled PAT again. The Roughers will let the time run here. And it'll be 54-0 Roughers. And they will improve to, as an expected, 7-0 mark.
Well, next week will be the first big test for the Roughers in several weeks. See how they do. They've kind of been working a little bit off and on against Sand Springs over the last couple of weeks, getting some of their plays in and kind of scouting them a little bit. So they'll go in a little bit ahead of the game as they prepare, and they'll have an extra day this week as well.
I don't think the Roughers are even going to kick off, Nick. I think we're just going to line up, shake hands, and say, good game, game over.
That's it.
And the final seconds will expire tonight here with the Roughers improving to a perfect 7-0. And once again, putting up plus 50 on the scoreboard as they take the 8th meeting all time between the two schools and improve the overall series to 4-1-3. So after a 51-year absence, Muskogee starts this series with a win tonight here at Speegle Stadium, 54-0. Stay tuned. Our post-game coverage of Rougher football in 2024 comes your way after this 2-minute timeout on Rougher TV.
In sports, having the right winning strategy is often the difference between winning and losing. The same is true when you need legal representation. For more than 15 years, the law offices of Michael E. Finnerty have successfully provided the winning strategy with excellence and integrity for the people of the Muskogee area in matters of personal injury, social security disability, and workers' compensation issues. The law office Muskogee trusts Michael A. Finnerty, ready to develop a winning strategy. Michael A. Finnerty, 436 Court Street in Muskogee. Call 687-1155. Online at finnertylaw.com.
Nobody beats the All-Star teams, now with 2 dealerships right off of West Shawnee Bypass. Together, Honda of Muskogee and All-Star CD JR have the finest selection of vehicles in town. Whether you're looking for a brand new Honda, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, or Ram, or a pre-owned make and model of any kind, we've got you covered. We work with all types of budgets, so why wait? Come see for yourself why nobody beats the All-Star CD JR and Honda of Muskogee teams. Go Roughers, and have a great game.
Proudly serving the elderly of the Muskogee community, Broadway Care Rehabilitation Center is a skilled nursing facility empowering better living through long-term care as well as many other respite care options. And coming soon to Broadway, the Memory Care Unit. At Broadway Care Rehabilitation, the amazing therapy department can help you or your loved one get back on their feet. Contracted with most major insurances, follow them on Facebook and see many of the enriching activities offered to the residents. Broadway Care Rehabilitation Center, proud to support the Muskogee Roughers.
The world of education is driven by numbers. So is the one company more schools and universities call on when fire or water damage strikes. 1-800-SERVPRO. The #1 choice in commercial cleanup and restoration.
When it matters most. The name to remember? ServPro of Muskogee. 918-913-4490. Online at servpro.com. Back at Speegle Stadium, where win number 7 is in the books for the Muskogee Roughers in a cakewalk against the Red Wolves of Capitol Hill. Final score 54-0. Roughers came out early after deferring the choice in the second half, stood their ground, got the ball back, and on the 4th play from scrimmage, it was P.J. Wallace into the end zone from 3. He set it up with a 47-yard gallop on the first play from scrimmage. Roughers leading at 6-0 with 7:46 to go in the first quarter. After a quick 3 and out, Muskogee gets the ball back in its own 42. The Bird and the Bees, the BBs, cooked together. That's kind of been a tradition of Rougher football. You go back to the Killer Bees of Boydston and Burris. Well, tonight it was Andre Beasley and Jamie Beasley on the receiving end of 2 Bird touchdown tosses, one of 68 yards, another of 46 yards. And the Ruffers had a quick 20-0 lead with 2 minutes to go in the first quarter play. Then after another 3 and out, it would be Preston James Wallace rambling in from 30 yards out. Another one-play drive with 11:34 to go before the intermission. It was 27-0. The Ruffers would get it back from starting at their own 49-yard line and actually incur a couple of holding penalties, one wiping out a would-be score. But then it would be LJ, Latavian Johnson, rumbling away for 6 points from 62 yards out. And then just before the half, the Ruffers score again. Johnson on a 27-yard gallop. It was 41-0 at that point. And then in the second half, the Ruffers adding 2 more scores, including the final 6 by the sophomore quarterback Peyton Lang to make the final score 54-0. Nick, your initial thoughts about tonight's ball game is kind of what you expected?
Kind of what you expected, yeah. I think, given all the injury problems the Capitol Hill had coming into the game, and then they lose the quarterback in the third quarter, and that handicapped them even further. And so it was pretty much as expected. But now, as we said at halftime, it's kind of down to business for the Ruffers now the rest of the season as they play the rest of the teams in the district that are pretty much tied with them for the district lead starting next week with Sand Springs.
So Muskogee tonight with the 54-0 victory, improving to 7-0. Capitol Hill with the loss will see their record drop to 1-6 and 0-4 in district action. Nick's been quickly adding up his statistics. We'll take a look at those stats and name our Buffalo Wild Wing player of the game. That after this 60-second timeout. This is Ruffer Football in 2024.
Have you been injured as a result of a car accident? Has your family been impacted by death of a loved one caused by someone else's negligence? Whatever you are dealing with, you don't have to face it alone. At 222 Injury Lawyers, our dedicated personal injury attorneys are here to fight for the justice and compensation you deserve. Call 918-528-0222.
In times of need, it's comforting to see faces of people you know and trust. Cornerstone Funeral Home in Muskogee cherishes the opportunity to be there for you and your family in life's most challenging times when friends are most important. Cornerstone Funeral Home and Crematory welcomes the opportunity to answer any questions regarding planning and pre-arrangements for you and your loved ones. Experience the difference. Cornerstone Funeral Home, 1830 North York in Muskogee, where you'll find faces you know and reputations you trust.
Final score tonight from Speegle Stadium. Ruffers cruise easily to win number 7, 54-0. And just like the scoreboard lopsided, so are the stats, offensively and defensively.
They are. The Ruffers having pretty much their way with it tonight. They carried the ball 14 times, rushed 14 times for 314 yards. That's a nifty average of about 22 yards of running play for the Ruffers. 5 of 6 passing tonight for Muskogee for 124 yards, so 438 yards in total offense for the Ruffers this evening. They fumbled the ball twice and lost it, had 7 penalties for 45 yards in the game. Latavian Johnson, the leading ground gainer tonight, had 2 carries for those touchdowns, or a touchdown and a long gallop, so he had 89 yards rushing tonight. He was the leading ground gainer. And Andre Beasley, the leading receiver, as he was at halftime, 2 receptions for 60 yards and a pair of touchdowns.
How many yards through the air for Bird?
Bird had 124 passing tonight.
And what?
4 of 5.
4 of 5.
Yep. I'm sorry, 5 of 6.
And 2 touchdowns?
2 touchdowns, yep. Is that right, 2 or 3? 2.
You keep on with the stats defensively because that's perhaps the most important thing here today.
So for the Red Wolves tonight, they carried the ball, rushed the ball 29 times for a minus 37 yards. They were 3 of 5 passing for 28 yards, so they had a total offense of a negative 9 yards tonight. 1 fumble they lost, and they were just penalized twice for 10 yards in the game this evening. White was the leading ground gainer. He had the only positive yards of the night, 4 carries for 13 yards. And Geis, the only guy, I think, who caught the ball tonight.
He had 2 catches, right?
He had just the 1 catch for 16 yards in the first half, and then there were 2 other shorter gains in the first half for the Red Wolves. So 16 yards. He was the leading receiver tonight for the Red Wolves, but ended up with a minus 9 yards in total offense tonight.
You know, I was trying to get back to that historical stat because we were talking about one of those earlier meetings between Muskogee and Capitol Hill, thanks to the record statistics of one Mr. Tommy Cobb. And one of those numbers was back, I was trying to find what year that was, Nick. It was back in 1941 in a 31-4 victory by the Ruffers at Indian Bowl. Muskogee's defense held Capitol Hill to 48 yards. So now there is a new standard of Ruffer defense against the Red Wolves, as tonight it's minus total yardage for the home team. As the Ruffers improve to 7-0, they'll start their sights zeroing in on next Friday night's encounter against the Sand Knights of Sand Springs, who had no trouble beating Putnam City West tonight. But, Nick, statistically, I think we also have to mention another 4 quarters of scoreless defense. That's now 14 consecutive scoreless quarters. Ruffers are going to need better defense than that, though, next Friday night when they go to Sand Springs.
They will. They'll face more of a passing attack next week against the Sandites, who always seem to have someone that comes out as a good passer for them. And so that'll be the case again next week, as they'll have to face a good passer and get the secondary really on their toes and ready to go. So that'll be a battle, as you said, for the district lead next week as they play next Friday night.
Now, last chore we have to do here tonight. You've added up all the numbers. We've talked about all the scoring plays. Who's on your ballot? I mean, voting has already started for presidential elections, congressional elections, state elections, local elections. Open balloting already going. And if you have not made your mind up to go vote, I just encourage you to take your part and go vote. I don't care who you vote for. Actually, I do, but I'm not going to get into that. I'll just leave that for you to encourage you to, if you want to have a part of the future, you got to go and vote. So now, Nick, who are you going to vote for tonight's Buffalo Wild Wings player of the game?
Well, you know, it's a little bit difficult tonight because the seconds, particularly in offense, got in real early, and so no one had a chance to really pile up a lot of numbers. But the defensive guys stayed in a little bit longer. You mentioned the scoreless streak the Ruffers have now, scoreless quarters. They hold these guys tonight to a minus 9 yards total offense. And so we think about maybe some of the guys that we called for tackles this evening. And the one that I remember, a couple of bone-jarring tackles particularly, was Jaden Harden.
I just thought of this while you were talking about that too. And I want to point out that this athlete contributed on both sides of the football, statistically as well as with physical impact. And a guy who has been very unselfish, a guy that has said, Coach, just put me on the field. I want to play. A guy who last year played through pain, played through injury. My ballot that I've got here says Latavian Johnson for the Buffalo Wild Wings player of the game. I mean, he made some pretty hard hits in that linebacker position. And then, of course, when he got called to go to the backfield, they took one touchdown away from him on a holding penalty. So all he did was come back and just go 62 yards to score. So I'm going to vote for Latavian Johnson.
I like your vote. That's good. Both guys played well, but like you say, Latavian did stuff on both sides of the ball tonight and was productive on both sides for the Ruffers.
So the senior Latavian Johnson, our Buffalo Wild Wings player of the game, but most importantly, the net result is the win. Ruffers with the victory, 54-0. Don't forget, Tuesday night coaches show from Runt's Barbecue is coming your way at 6:30, both on Ruffer TV and on Okie Country 101.7 KTFX. For all of our outstanding production crew, our student body, not taking an early start to the fall break, just taking care of the business with the broadcast here tonight. We thank you. Join us from Speegle Stadium. Final score, Muskogee 54, Capitol Hill 0. For Nick Hampton, I'm Bill Huddelston. So long from OKC, and as always,